one and all to Hazard Analysis, folks. Episode 3, Bud Indictment, folks. I am your king of extreme, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, the conqueror of the ethereal, and one damn handsome man, if I do say so myself, Phil K.O.E. You can, of course, find me right here at Hazard Analysis on YouTube. You can find me at KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. You can find me at Big Buckin' Empire. You can find me, folks, you can even find me at Truth and Fiction Pod on YouTube. But also, I am the reigning, defending tribal chief of the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast as well. Go check out me, Tony, and Chicken's WrestleMania watch along over at Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. An amazing time. Yes, your tribal chief, your head of the table of the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast and Hazard Analysis as well, folks. Phil K.O.E., folks. I am thrilled to be here this evening. And this evening, to start off the show, I am joined by my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
the 14-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, the non-chill filtered, non-coppa friendly, and quadruple distilled, Tony fucking G. You can find me at TikTok at Tony the Rod. And yes, thank you for joining us. Like, share, subscribe. Specifically, if you can manage to find this thing on fucking YouTube. Not that YouTube's burnt us in the past or in the future or ever, but hey, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch with the Big Buckin' Empire, of course. But we are still trying to get as many subscribers on the new channel, Hazard Analysis, as humanly possible, so we can grow that, so it will actually show up in the search results without having to, sacrifice your firstborn or, cut off a limb.
Allegedly. So yeah, that's where we are now. Hazard Analysis. It's always hard to get a new channel starting, but I am currently shilling it to the 4 wins of all the beautiful people that I know all over Twitch right now. So and the varying discords. And actually, I was pretty insulted the other day. I put my glasses on, trying to see where they are. They're nowhere near me, and my daughter said I looked like a Discord mod.
I was going to go with Reddit mod.
It's like, oh, fuck you, Tony. Like, wow. No, man. Like, bro, I thought we were friends all these years, and you fucking go with Reddit mod. I
could have said 4chan.
Bro, no, nothing's worse than a Reddit mod.
A 4chan mod?
Tony, you're trying to grade by the slimmest fucking curve in God's creation here. Right, okay? Let's not. Okay, thank you. Jesus, bro. That was bad. We've been through thick, thin, thinner, and thinnest, but that one damn near did it right there.
You're right. I'm sorry.
So Tony, so we can move on as a way of moving forward. What are you drinking tonight?
So I'm starting off with a dram of Heaven's Door store pick. This is from Wine, Beer, and Spirits. It's their second store pick. It's got a little bit left. I love this one, so I've been kind of milking it, enjoying that. And then, of course, I've got just some simple stuff to follow up, just some Buffalo Trace. And then for the Facebook subscribers, yes, folks, you too can get in on this for only $5 a month. If you go to the Big Buckin' Empire on Facebook, subscribe for $4.99 a month. Here's what you get to do. You get to give either Phil or myself a drink every single show. That is a bargain that you cannot buy in stores, folks. You can only get it here online in the moment. And I promise you it's worth it, because Phil loves gin so much, he will have to take a shot.
I completely forgot to get my gin glasses. So,
or,
I think, folks, you don't need to give me any
beer.
Yes, you don't need to give me any gin shots. I think you need to just make Tony chug. He's all ready. Hey there, Jeremy. How we doing there, good sir? Welcome to Hazard Analysis, the newest show with KOE and Tony G. And we have a wide variety of guests that come and go. We were counting on Nate Dallin, but he had some family issues come up last minute. So we hope to have the great attorney Nate Dallin here soon, an attorney so good that when the Supreme Court looks for legal theory and jurisprudence, they just call up Nate Dallin and they're like, we need nothing more. And so, yes, we're looking forward to getting him on. Hopefully next week. Later on tonight, we will have Iko Rich, the great beard of knowledge, will be stopping by. So let's quick talk about Trump and leave him with just WWE. So
yeah, that'd be great.
But we've got a couple of things to talk about. It's been kind of a slow news week. Not been.
Sure, let's go with that.
But before we get into that, what I'm drinking is the old school bottling of Maker's 46. I figure it's a little time. Like, Tony, I'll probably let you get the next bottle of Maker's 46. I got a bottle of Maker's 46 cask strength. We can probably do versus one of these days. But it's time to work on this bottle, and that'll probably be what I'm sipping on for the rest of the night. Is just a good old dram, a Maker's 46.
It's a
good old fashioned, the way God intended, good multi-staving bourbon to be.
Yes, multi-staving. All about that.
So
Maker's 46 is fantastic. If you never tried Maker's 46, you like bourbon, folks, that is one of the greatest bargains in bourbon. It is delicious.
Now, before we get into any of the stories and stuff, like this is just you and me, a little bit of personal stuff. I'm curious, Tony, you made a whiskey haul today.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What did you pick up? I need to know.
So
the audience needs to know.
Okay. So I've found some Irish honey Bushmills, which is discontinued. Got some TX blended whiskey, which is fantastic stuff. Keeper's Heart American whiskey Irish blend in a bottle. I'm pretty excited about that. And a Baker's 7-year. Very excited about that. That's one I've been looking for a while.
Oh, no. Trey's wondering, what's a good drink to ruin that Maker's 46? It would definitely be making Tony drink a beer. No, Tony, I think he's thinking a little something different. Of a different drink. I'm just going to go ahead and get my glasses now.
That'd probably be wise. Yeah, why don't you just get that ready, Phil? Maker's is some of the best shit. It's so fantastic. Love me some. You know what? Standard Maker's mark isn't even that bad. It's a great mixer, but pretty much everything past their entry-level bourbon, it is just remarkable stuff. You will not find a bad Maker's mark. You just will not. I don't think it exists. I don't think it's possible. Should Phil take a shot of gin right away? I think he should. You know what? It's probably time, right? Tony G better get in on this. Let's see what Tony G has to say in the comments. Let's see. Here we go. Sent. Yanked Up says, let's do it. Oh, look at that. Let's pop up that next comment. Oh, no, Phil. Oh, what happened? Oh, he's going to be so disappointed. Oh, man. Look at him. He doesn't even know yet. So innocent.
God damn it, Tony.
What? What did I do?
What did you do?
Oh,
what did you do? You're wondering what did you do? The thing you just did. That's what you did. That's what you do. Now,
whoopsie doozy.
This is Tony. I just want to note. This is the gin you got me for Christmas.
Oh,
I'm gonna grab something because it bears mentioning.
Are you ever gonna stay on camera?
It really does bear.
Like, the fuck? I love how. The fuck?
He's just got to keep walking away. This is really screwing up my editing. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're down a couple of guests, and Phil's like, yeah, I'm just gonna wander off camera for every 30 seconds. Perfect. Oh, he brought out the Dalmore.
So, Tony, this is the gin you got me for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the Scotch you and Chicken got me for Christmas.
Right. Yep.
This is generally the rate at which I drink alcohol, Tony. Very
obviously
moderate.
You really like gin.
Fuck you.
Hey, the results don't lie. It's science.
It's basic science.
It's basic science.
Good damn you.
If you like the Dalmore, you would have drank it. But obviously, you like gin.
Tony,
I'm sorry.
You know how much that hurts. But guess what, Tony?
You've drank. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying you've drank more Brickway gin than you've drank Dalmore 14. The results don't lie.
God, I hate myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Tony, give me full screen. Give me full screen. Folks, to fighting, stealing, and drinking. If you're going to fight, may it be for a friend. If you're going to steal, may it be a lover's heart. And if you're going to drink, by God, I hope it's with me. Mm-hmm.
How is it? Is it delicious? Oh, he's just savoring it. It's like liquid butter in his mouth.
That's the first drink I've had since the last time we were on live together. I wanted to enjoy this 46.
You just let it breathe. Really open up that palate with that gin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let the gin breathe. You're a dick. Okay? Y'all a bunch of dicks. Jesus Christ.
Start this off hot, I guess.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Yeah, I just dropped that.
Yep. Chug buddy. Fuck.
Chug it.
Cheers.
God damn. Tony G, the one human being to be able to exist without a working liver. It is impressive, Tony. That is...
No, it works. Not only does it work, it does overtime.
Well, yeah, but like the Chug Buddy helps, but you have to have a body that can contain all of that. Like I know a lot of people, you try to get a fourth of that bottle in, it's coming back out one way or another. So well done. Did you just take a shot?
No.
Okay. Drink. Okay. I thought it was like, damn. It's like, fuck you. That's how I'd follow up.
Yeah, I'll just fucking get shit fresh out of the gate.
Well, no, I was going to say, like, man, one thing can be said. Us Nebraska boys can hold our liquor. Like, Tony's like, well, after that little pansy ass beer chug, let me take a quick little shot of Fireball.
Yeah.
Just to even it out a little bit. Like, but now we're not. But what is it? Beer before liquor, nothing gets you sicker.
Yeah,
liquor before beer.
You're in and it's all bullshit. Just don't drink like we do typically.
I've noticed when you mix anything, that's when things start going down. Like if you mix wine and beer, you're gonna have a bad night. If you mix wine and alcohol, gonna have a bad night. You mix beer and alcohol, gonna have a bad night. But if I stick to wine over the night, it's generally better. If I stick to whiskey, generally better. I don't generally have a lot of beer nights except for Andre the Giant.
Oh,
joke's on you. It's
it's never a Bud Light. It's never a Bud Light, and it was never a Bud Light before this last week of nonsense.
Yeah, which we'll get to that a little later. But like Tony and I were talking, like we'll see. There's rumblings that maybe next week, Joe is going to have an announcement about Bud Light. Like I've heard from my varying channels, Tony, that next week Joe Biden on this show is going to have a very special announcement about Bud Light. So be sure to tune in for Hazard Analysis episode 4 for that. Tony, that's called, it's called a little teaser for the audience.
That is a teaser.
I'm absolutely a master fucking teaser. I'm basically kid show business. Let's be frank.
Yeah.
But
you're a tease. You are a tease.
Ooh. So, Tony, we've teased the audience enough, and I'm going to let you kind of set the table here for where we're going here for the rest of the evening.
Are we going to actually talk about stories this week? Because that'd be cool for a change.
Oh, shit.
Like Tiberius isn't here to like get in an argument with you. Jack's not here to like sit there and disagree with a very, very stern face. Like, I don't know how we're going to survive. It's just you and me.
I know. And also, like, just a random poll of the audience for those who were here last week. Did Jacanadar articulate a difference between socialism, communism, and Marxism? Drop it in the comments. See if you were convinced. Were you persuaded? Were you brought to the other side? Like, I'm just curious.
I'm still waiting for him to do so, but
like at one point I could see everybody on the panel like kind of like doing this, like what the fuck? Huh? Like it was.
If I say a bunch more words, maybe they'll forget that I didn't actually distinguish a difference.
Yeah, we were. I wanted to get a little deeper into that, but then I realized we were well into hour 3, and I was a little shit faced. Don't
Don't
jinx it,
jinx
Tony. It just out of nowhere, bam, he's right there, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah,
oh, damn, how we
that could
doing, Jack?
happen. That
But
could happen.
no, Jack's a cool guy. I don't like. He's interesting fella. Sometimes he gets a little off into the weeds, to steal a phrase from Eric Bischoff, because now everybody's using in the weeds, and he says, I fucking came up with that phrase. God damn it. So, but all right, but that's a little bit of a segue into our major topics. Tony, set the table for the legal world that we've been in.
We've got some wonderful political just political theater, let's call it that, because it's not really the justice system at work. It's just theatrics, let's be frank. We've got some MMA pro wrestling tag team partnering. We've of course got the wonderful, the elegant, the fashionable Anheuser-Busch Light, Bud Light, and their new sponsor, and the story within that. We have just got a heaping helping of just stuff to talk about here.
Yeah, so I mean, Tony, really, I think we need to start off with the biggest legal issue of the era.
Yes, let's start off with the most important thing concerning anything legality wise. This is huge. This is big. Like, this has never happened before.
The sale of WWE to the UFC. Yes, folks, the most important thing. What? Whoa, wait. No, Tony, there's nothing bigger. What are you talking about?
Feel like there might be, but no, that's fine. Let's.
What? Like, okay, folks in the audience, let us know. Is there a bigger story that's happened this week than the WWE being sold to
Endeavor,
to the UFC? Yeah, to Endeavor Entertainment. I almost said Pinnacle Entertainment. Like, Jesus Christ, I had a brain fart there for a second, but
right.
Tyler, Phil's a bitch. Tyler, fuck you.
Tyler,
who the fuck asked you? Well, actually, Yank seems to have an idea as to what might be a bit bigger story here.
Might be.
Might. Well, hey there. This is the best mugshot. None has ever been better. Look at my spectacular, glorious golden hair.
This can't be real because he looks like a frog.
No, this isn't real. This is not
real.
Can't
possibly.
There was no mugshot was taken that day.
So, yeah. And if it was, he probably would have taken a better picture than that.
Oh, he'd have been smiling? Yeah. Because that would be like the minute there's a reason they didn't take the mugshot, because it would be Trump's biggest piece of merch.
It would be his campaign poster.
It would fuck a MAGA hat. It would just be his just be his mugshot photo for the hat, the shirt. Hell, we rather than a hazard analysis, we would probably just have a picture of Trump's real mugshot there for like a week or two, just because it would be the most viewed photo on earth, and they would basically it would seal the election for Trump. So that's why they didn't do it. Now, Tony, because I know I was kind of getting facetious about the other thing, but no, we're here and we're talking about it now. We are living in history, Tony. The former president of the United States, the leading candidate for president of the United States on the Republican side, has been indicted by his political opposition. He has been arrested by his political opposition and is being investigated by a man who openly campaigned on getting Trump. So politics has already infected these proceedings. Now, Tony, I'm going to bring you back to something I said a few weeks ago. And to me, he would have winked at the camera.
Yeah.
Remember when I said that the thing that our species needs more than anything else is a separation of politics from science? Well, the thing we need right after that is a separation of politics from law and law enforcement, because now we are in an era of politicized law enforcement. And let's be frank, Donald J. Trump, a billionaire who actually ascended to the fucking presidency of the United States, if he can't fucking withstand this level of scrutiny, then who the fuck can? And
Well,
that's why it's such powerful imagery when he says, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in the way. It's powerful whether you agree with it or not.
I think the big thing you got to understand here, though, is that the Justice Department, the police department, like you said, we need separation, but you've got to look at it this way. Donald Trump campaigned, okay, you can say Joe Biden campaigned on getting Trump. Donald Trump's probably most effective line when he was campaigning for his first term was when he told Hillary Clinton she'd be in jail.
No, I understand that. No, I was talking about Alan Bragg, the prosecutor. In his campaign in New York, he said, vote for me and I will get Donald Trump.
I understand that. But what I'm getting at, Donald Trump essentially made that promise because he's like, I'm going to go after the Democrats. And that was pretty much the point where they're like, no, we're pretty much just going to spend every effort we can now getting.
No, I get what you're saying. Now, if I wanted to be particularly slippery, I'd say that's not exactly what he said.
That's not that. I'm not done with my point, though.
Oh, well, when's that ever stop me, Tony? Come on.
Never. It never stops you. That's kind of my point. But my main point here, Donald Trump says to Hillary Clinton, you'd be in jail if I were the president. Says that to her before his first term. Wins the election. Maintains his presidency for the full 4 years, even though he got impeached twice. And not once during that entire tenure was he capable of getting anything against Hillary Clinton off the ground. Now, you're seeing the full force of the Justice Department, of the police department, and the alphabet groups coming full force at a former president, not even a hopeful that lost the election, former president. His house has been raided, and now he's been indicted. So if you want to talk about separation of politics and police state, really it's just kind of from one side of politics, isn't it? Because it really seems to be, to me anyway, looking at it, only one party's controlling the police state.
Mm-hmm. That's why the meme about a year and a half ago was really funny, where Elon Musk offers to buy the FBI from the Clintons.
Yeah.
And so it would take a guy like Musk to buy it, because unfortunately, like you said, we have a politicized law enforcement where it only goes to one side, and it's been an axiomatic truth in DC since the 1980s. Democrats don't prosecute Democrats, and that's why you see
Hillary's safe, and God, Cuomo was basically just handed a slap on the wrist, even though really they would have sent anybody else up the river.
Oh yeah, if Cuomo was a Republican, they would probably be trying to put him in prison right now. And that's what he knows that. Like, because for some reason the powers that be in this country seem to favor the Democratic Party more. Like, for whatever reason, the elitists, the experts, they seem to like the Democratic Party because I mean there's many reasons, and for those I dare not speculate. But
well, if
regardless,
you look back though, like
you'll notice they're all happy about this banana republic shit.
Yeah, look how far back it goes with the Clintons and avoiding being punished, though. I mean, we can go all the way back to Whitewater when Hillary was actually in trouble for doing something. Did that stop her? Did that stop the Clintons? Did that stop the Democrats? She ran for president in 2016, for God's sake, and she's had plenty of success in politics since that. So,
but if you'd have asked the Democrats that were on our show last week, Hillary's as clean as the wind-driven snow.
Oh, Christ.
It's kind of fascinating.
Is she not guilty, admittedly and provingly, at doing everything that Trump's been indicted over?
Ooh,
like essentially.
Like, well,
what's she being
when she did destroy the evidence after
destroy
the evidence after the subpoena, the only reason she got off on that was because James Comey just decided not to prosecute just arbitrarily, because he said intent didn't matter for the first time ever in the FBI's prosecution. But yeah, it was pretty fucked up. Yeah. Well, what's funny is they're actually inventing an intent that they couldn't possibly know. It's like he did this for the campaign, and he did this for his campaign. And really, like, if you can demonstrate Trump doing any sort of similar activity in the past, it's more of his personal reputation. And so they literally had to invent felonies where none were. Like I said a couple weeks ago, Alan Bragg's not a brave man. He's not a bold man. He passed up on these charges earlier because he didn't feel that there was enough there to go after. He wouldn't have done this unless he had certain assurances from higher up the food chain. So I wonder who that was. Now, let's not forget that Garland initially denied any and all involvement with the Trump raid until it was ultimately revealed that he totally, actually, absolutely had a bunch of involvement and signed off on the Trump raid. So I would not be a bit surprised if it was Garland or one of his lackeys. Now, yeah, no proof right now, but you really don't need a weather vane to know which way the wind is blowing. So that's what and this is literally a political prosecution to try and take a leading candidate out of contention. Trey Powell reversed that. He said she didn't intend it. Normally intent to, okay, I got you. But yeah, for the first time, intent didn't matter. And the first time, and the FBI's, which I think is what I said, but I don't know. The court stenographer will let us know later. But now, Tony, we're to this point where we're not really going to have honest people running for office anymore.
Okay. Well, okay.
Well, at this level,
when
if you try to actually change anything, look at what they're going to do. Look at what they're going to do to you if you try to actually change things in Washington. Doesn't matter how fucking high you make it.
I'm sorry, you can't. Like, how far back can you make that statement though? Like, that's not a new concept. They're all politicians. It doesn't matter. So
at least when they try to get in, they at least have some good principles in their mind when they show up, and then DC corrupts them.
Mayor of a small town?
No, like DC seems to have its own gravity.
Oh,
once you get there, it pulls you
the
in.
more corrupt you get. Come on, let's not beat around.
Well, yes, we all know that, but I'm saying once you get to DC, everybody's got that bright-eyed ideal, but not anymore. I don't think you're going to have that anymore. You're going to have people that are cynically after as much power as they possibly can, and you're going to have literal Patrick Batemans running for fucking office. Like,
no, the idea of a statesman,
I am empty and dead inside.
The idea of the statesman is long dead and buried. Like, there's no such thing now, because even the one that has the best intent, that's going to go out the window at the lowest level of politics. Like, the higher up, like I said, if you become a mayor, great. Then you're going to start learning, even at that level, shit, I got to shake the hands of the wrong people just to make things operate cleanly, because that's just the way the system works. And the higher you work up, governor, senator, whatever, it doesn't get better. Like, the people surrounding you aren't going to get less shady, less corrupt. It just doesn't work that way. So it's the same.
And if you get up high enough, you start singing that old song, "Lolly Lule Low." It's a classic.
It's the same trope. Douche or a turd sandwich, and that's what we're always going to be left with. It's just never going to change. Well, and even if we by some chance got to a more than a two-party system, you're still going to be looking at a pile of shit politician from a third party. So it doesn't matter. Just pick the person you want. But here's the thing: don't die on the mountain because you are so incorporated to do everything in your power to vote a straight blue or a straight red ticket, because you should still be voting with your heart and not just with the guilt of everybody else in the party that you follow. That's kind of always been my philosophy. But that's the problem here. We're looking at an idea and a cause that people are buying this shit. People actually believe on the blue side that this isn't just political theater, and we know it is. They actually believe that he's being indicted on not bullshit charges that wouldn't just be completely ignored if it was anybody else. Hell, even on the Republican side, none of this would have mattered. But it's all about cutting him off at the knees before he can run, and they're still going to fail at doing that.
I was going to say, the smart ones know that's what they're doing. It's kind of like it's like that song I always.
A lot of them don't know, and the ones that do know don't care because they agree. Oh,
the ones that don't, the ones that do know, it's kind of like that song I always rework. The indictment's a lie, and I think you'll find most Dems know, but they just don't mind. Like it's unfortunately that's where we are. And if we have one half of the country that's willing to just prosecute their political oppositions out of participation in any elections, we don't effectively really have a country anymore.
No, we don't. Because nobody is actually voting with the intent to make the country better. They're voting with the intent that other guy bad. And if you go into a voting booth with that mindset already firmly in place, you're really just more of a statistic at that point than anything else. And it doesn't really matter because you're not going to believe anything. Your mind has been made up, and not just made up, it's been made up for you. And if we're gonna do that, and we're just gonna believe, like we're actually getting worse because people all know everything you see on the political theater news channels is bullshit. But now we don't care. We don't care because it's all about voting a straight ticket regardless. Because Orange Man bad or Sleepy Joe Biden. Well, he really is Sleepy Joe Biden, but nevertheless, you get the point. And now we're going to actually get to the point where we're policing former presidents of the United States because they're such a threat to freedom and liberty that they have to be stopped at all means necessary, at any cost, before they can regain control. Now, here's the thing. Why is that a problem?
The lefties call it they're ontologically evil. Like they literally believe that their political opponents are just like evil at their core and just need to be stopped. And like once you believe that, like what the left believes a lot of that. Like once you start believing that, then it doesn't take a lot for a twisted mind to start justifying even things like violence. And so that's why you need to get really worried about that kind of rhetoric. Now, Tony, something that you were touching on a little bit earlier, and it's the strange guilt tripping that comes every election season that you have
I love it.
Done more than your part to try to resist it over the past several decades.
It's bullshit.
Well, now I do understand. It's like,
say this, Tony, without that smug grin.
If what? Say what?
What you're about to say.
I don't think I can.
Because you're already grinning ear to ear, knowing what you're about to say is total bullshit.
Well, no, because every election cycle, like moderate normies like you have to deal with if you do not vote for my candidate, then you don't love America. You hate grandma and apple pie. And yeah, that's what happens every time around. And it's fascinating, like, because I was watching the South Park episode about the Obama-McCain election with my daughter. And I was like, unfortunately, this is how it is every election. In 2016, I was Randy out in the streets because of Trump. And then in 2022, I was Butter's dad because and not just me, everybody I know does the exact same fucking thing. And everybody, and here's the funny part, folks. If you think you're the one that's the exception to it, I got some sad news for you. Like, unfortunately, nobody's above this shit. It's just the way of our bichromatic rainbow that is American politics. That, like, yeah, when the good guy wins, yay! When the bad guy wins, boo! And that's how it's been for a minute. And Tony, the one thing that I've always found interesting about you is like, I'm not saying this to like, don't take this to too much to your head because like,
with all due respect, fuck you.
No. I don't want to throw off the like such spot on metric you've been for all these years by telling you this and making you conscious of it and maybe trying to warp it a little bit. But you've always, like, whether you know it or not, your finger's been a lot closer to the pulse of the, for lack of better terms, the independent normies that actually swing elections in the purple districts. Like, I know that sounds very strange, but you're a lot closer to that pulse than just about anybody I've ever met in God's creation. Okay. And so that's what's always fascinating. Like, so when I hear you say, oh, this is horse shit, or that's no good, or all right, Phil, I think you're going a little hard in the paint there. I usually listen a little harder than most folks because it's like, okay, it's interesting.
You might listen with your ears. You sure don't listen with that mouth though.
Well, the mouse
You're
made
like,
for talk.
oh, did you just say I'm wrong about something? Well, allow me to double down real quick, and I'll
Well,
think
now,
about this after the fact.
just because you have your finger on the pulse doesn't mean that you're right every time, like some sort of fortune teller. It's
like a Phil
just,
KOE, right?
thank you,
Right.
thank
Right.
you, God. But there's something I wanted to ask you here. So you're looking at all this whole indictment thing. They're coming after Trump. They're going after him for the Stormy Daniels things, for stuff that was a misdemeanor that the statute of limitations is expired. Now they're turning it into a felony in a way that's
She's
never
got to
happened
pay
before.
him twice now, but we're still going after Trump.
Let me ask you this, as sort of a moderate normie, just the guy that's got his finger on more of the pulse than even I would like to admit. Is this valid to you?
No. Jesus, no. None of this is valid. There's 43 counts, and literally they all kind of say the same fucking thing, just worded differently. That's how desperate they're getting. Well, there was a guy on fucking, oh, Jesus, who was it? I can't think of the guy's
Yeah,
name.
normally when they try to stack charges like that, it's because they're not very sure of the indictment they're going to get.
Yeah.
And so they're hoping that they'll get a jury that's like, they're hoping they get a bunch of jurors like Tiberius D, where it's like, well, let's split the field here and just convict him on a few of them. Because that's how some dummies, not that Ty's a dummy, but that's how some idiots on juries actually think, unfortunately. Trey Powell, the reason why the Banana Republic really matters is what's the next step? Political assassinations and military coups? Like, unfortunately, oh man, Trey, I hope that's not where that goes. I really do. But unfortunately, people need to realize, unfortunately, in justice, especially on juries, people try to split the difference like that, which is really stupid. A person is either innocent or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I've always kind of despised that idea. Oh, speaking of going hard in the paint, Phil Chin, and then wait a minute, what? Tony?
Yep. Looks like a double, Phil.
Oh, I might be finishing this bottle off tonight, folks.
God, that'd be neat.
Fuck you.
Let's make that happen. Only you can make that happen, folks.
Only you can also prevent forest fires. Or if you support Republican legislatures in heavily forested states so that they actually support logging out at least the dead trees so that there won't be such a severe burn. But all right, Tony.
Tear it up, buddy. You got this.
To 45, the entire 80 million people who all love you, give you a high five, and God Almighty, this is a spirit I despise.
How is it? Describe that flavor.
Regret.
But why?
Regretting that I have a tongue.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
So that was enjoyable. And let me guess. Oh, damn it. We're not even through the first hour yet. I got plenty more to come. So, Tony, I ask you this, whether it's valid or not, because if the moderates see this as bullshit, our country has a chance. Because, I'll be honest with you, Biden, I would support the guy getting impeached. I would. I'll be honest with you. Only because turnabout's fair play. And if the Democrats are going to start bullshit politicized impeachments, that's fine. But I always was against the idea of indicting a president afterwards. Like, even Richard Nixon, there was never any serious talk of indicting him. That was never a thing that was going to happen. Another one.
Oh, man. So you got two more yet.
But wait, what? What do you mean?
I
did a double.
Oh, you did a double. Oh, okay.
Because here's the thing. I also got to say, if we're indicting former presidents, George W.'s got a lot to be worried about, okay? Like, that motherfucker needs to be sweating bullets right now. George W. Bush, like, I don't believe we should be impeaching former presidents at all. And in regards to 9/11, I plead the fifth.
So, as you prepare that, you're asking me, as the moderate normie, who doesn't subscribe to either political ticket up and down, is this bullshit? Of course it's bullshit. And you know how you can measure this as bullshit? Fucking John Bolton on CNN,
Oh, wow.
after this happened, even said, this is really weak and this isn't going to stick.
Wow.
There you fucking go, folks.
John Bolton was basically, hey, Senate, I'll start talking and you let me know when you have enough to convict.
There you go. So if even some of the harshest critics of Donald Trump on the left are like, this is weak, this isn't going to stick, folks, I've said it before, I will say it again. This is just the fourth impeachment. The first two before he got out of office. The first one he was in office. The second one he was on his way out of office. The third was the January 6 hearings. And this is the fourth impeachment. And the motherfucker's not even
the fourth one was his house getting raided. We're on the fifth impeachment. So he is the grandson.
I include the Mar-a-Lago raid along with the January 6th.
Trump is literally the fucking tribal chief of impeachments, okay?
I include Mar-a-Lago raid in with the January 6th hearings. I kind of
included in with this, to be honest with you. Now it's all kind of runs together into one continuous thing. And Chicken, I gotta say, hey, Chicken, cluck, cluck, you fucker. Acknowledge your tribal chief. Broke your WrestleMania streak, Chicken.
So look at it this way. Say you're a Democrat. Say you're an anti-Trump voter.
Ew.
Just go with me here. What's the best case scenario here? Really, what is the best case scenario? I ask, because if we're going to pretend, the best case scenario is
they load Orange Man into a cannon and fire him to the moon because Orange Man's so bad.
That's just it.
Literally, it's a child's fantasy is what they want.
That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. They want to see Trump in handcuffs. They want to see him go to prison. So say that happens. Say that Donald Trump is successfully indicted. This all goes swimmingly, and he goes to jail. What is the cost? What is the cost worth it? Because what is that going to cost you? If Donald Trump goes to prison for these ridiculous bullshit, they're all the same 34 charges. If he goes to prison, Phil, what would you say the cost of that would be? Ultimately, not the immediate, but long term.
Let's be honest here.
As a whole, what's the cost?
Donald Trump is not going to prison under any way, shape, form, or figure. Even under any rational court, this would be thrown out. But you got to keep in mind that the judge also has a lot of political connections to the Democratic Party. He's got a lot of biases against Trump. His daughter actually worked for Kamala Harris. So unfortunately, when it comes to the judge, it looks like the fix is in here for Donald Trump, because if it's not thrown out on a motion to dismiss, this pretty much tells you the fix is in. And honestly, I'm not all that impressed with Donald Trump's defense team. I remember an attorney named Barnes was actually on. He says he needs to hire Alan Dershowitz, okay? Because Alan Dershowitz, he litigates like his freedom depends on it. And then it I'll never forget. It was a great scene from our cartoon president. It was Bill Clinton and Donald Trump talking about then our great attorney, Alan Dershowitz, he litigates like his freedom depends on it. Then it shows a picture of Alan Dershowitz, and then it pans out to showing him and Jeffrey Epstein standing next to each other, and then Trump goes, and it does.
Yeah, fuck that.
But Dershowitz would be a good attorney for this.
I'd go for Jerry McDivitt. Fuck that.
Jerry McDivitt.
Yeah.
Jesus. Saul Goodman.
No, he kept fucking Vince McMahon out of prison when the fucking steroid trials hit, and that was a slam dunk case, even though that was also bullshit.
Who was Rittenhouse's attorney again?
Oh God.
No.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, he needs to assemble the greatest right-wing attorney team of all time. It'll be the best.
No, that's the thing. He doesn't need to, because they're all bullshit charges. And if he assembles just a crackpot team of the best, it's going to make it look like there's actually something there. So honestly, while his defense might not look that strong, if he put too much into it, that might actually send the wrong message.
Well, also keep in mind that every time somebody tries to sign on for an attorney for Donald Trump, suddenly they find themselves with the deep state's crosshairs on them. So they've been trying to even keep this guy from having competent representation for years. So, like, to me, it's the fact that it's taken so many years and the charges are so feeble, they are so weak, and they are so thin. This really shows, like, this does really, like, liberals always like to say, oh, conservatives have a persecution complex. Well, when they're being openly legally persecuted, it kind of does that.
Yeah, remember when you used to get Secret Service for life if you were president? Now you get
Investigations,
constant investigations for life.
I was about to say, like I said, we got some former presidents. Like Carter's about the only motherfucker that ain't got to be nervous about shit.
Yeah, I say he's got an exit.
I was about to say he's on his way out anyways, but
he's got
like even out. Like he's the only motherfucker that's got fuck you bitches. I got such a sterling reputation. They ain't coming after me.
Carter would have had to actually have done something to be indicted for something.
Yeah, and I remember Tiberius is telling me they found some old records of classified stuff that Dukakis wasn't supposed to have. And I was like, I think just let him keep it. Like, yeah. I mean, like, let's be frank. It's like, ooh, this was classified in 1982.
Let's go get Dukakis.
Yeah, like, it's like, I think.
Finally. I've been losing sleep over that ever since. Before I was born.
Just let him keep it. Like, it's just like at this point, like, it's just something that's kind of neat for his grandkids to read when he dies. Like,
that
it's
political wizard that is Dukakis.
Yeah. I was like, how the fuck did he even manage to get his hands on a classified document?
Made the most of that run.
Who even accidentally gave him one? like, what the fuck is this? Like, no.
Yeah, somebody handed him something because they thought he was a secretary, and he's like, "Here, go shred this." Woo! I get to keep this.
Hey, nice. I got some memorabilia.
So yeah, no. In a nutshell, no. You can look at this as a whole, and that's the beautiful thing because we don't live in a blue state. Obviously, we're in a very, very heavy red state.
Thank God.
And I think even if you go to the blue portions of this state and you ask an honest person who's not like without a camera in their face, because God forbid I actually give an honest opinion here. You ask a person in a blue portion of this red state, and they're probably going to agree. Yeah, no, this doesn't feel like a slam dunk by any means. Because here's the thing. Even if they would have believed that this was a slam dunk thing, a lot of the people that have been just touting, yeah, get him, get Trump, any means necessary. First impeachment failed. Second impeachment failed. The January 6th hearings failed. The fucking Mar-a-Lago raid failed. It's like, fool me once. But here we are going on now 5 times. At this point, you're just getting their hopes up. You're stroking them off, and you're not getting them off. It's not going to happen. And they're going to keep doing this because he's announced now. You know he's running. So they are trying anything they can. And at least people can now see through that it's okay. They just want to stop him from running because they feel like they have to. And they're losing people. All these feeble attempts that are just wasting everybody's time and resources, nobody cares at one point because at one point, even the staunchest of staunch blue ticket voter is going to go, nothing's going to come from it. Now they can assume, well, that's because he's just so evil and crooked. He can get away with anything. That's why we have to put him away. At one point, they've got to go, maybe my party isn't actually doing what's best. And they're just scared of this guy. And that's what it is. And a lot of people are starting to see through the veil. They're starting to see, okay, yeah, this is literally just trying to weaken a political opponent because none of this has anybody's best interest in mind. What does Donald Trump going to prison actually do to help you on a day-to-day basis? What does Donald Trump going to prison do to help you save money at the fuel pump? What does Donald Trump going to prison do to help you save a few bucks at the grocery store? What does Donald Trump going to prison actually do to help prevent World War III? What does Donald Trump going to jail actually do to secure your 401k and your retirement plan? The answer is fucking nothing, folks. And that is the basis of what the Democrats are running on in 2024, putting Orange Man in jail instead of addressing the very, very crucial, critical, horrifying things that are going on right now. Inflation, the fucking US dollar tanking, brooding World War III. For God's sake, folks, those are the things that the Democrats should actually be focusing on. But no, instead, here we are, more worried about did Donald Trump properly cross his T's and dot his I's when doing paperwork for an alleged meetup with the fucking porn star. That's what we're focused on. Not inflation, not World War III, not our economy tanking. No. That's what we need to focus on. Donald Trump going to jail. Yep, campaign on that. I'm telling you, folks, this is what you want. If you're a blue ticket voter, this is what makes you feel good about voting a straight blue ticket. What you're seeing right now, this is the real hard-hitting issue. As a fucking moderate normie, I'm telling you, you are going to fail tenfold. And if you see some crazy, ridiculous record turnout and another historic slam dunk win for the Dems, at that point, even the blue voters are going to go, this still doesn't smell right now, does it?
Yeah, unfortunately, Tony, what this appeases is people with severe, almost incurable TDS, and also what his true crime is. His real crime was, Tony, 2016 was supposed to be her turn. Don't you understand? That was the crime. That's what the indictment's about. Now, folks, we have something special here. We have a very special guest that just made a very sudden run-in. And don't worry, Iko, I'll stretch for you. I saw he's chewing on something. So, but folks, on this particular show, we finally have an amazing guest for you, a beard of knowledge, a beard that will bring a bit of a different perspective and maybe even a touch of pushback here at Hazard Analysis, KOE Nation, Big Buckin' Empire. But we shall see, because he is a man that it doesn't matter which side of which. It doesn't matter what's your favorite sandwich. We've got the one, the only, Iko Rich. Folks, sorry, I'm a few gins in. This is as good as we're going to do. And welcome, Iko Rich, to the show. How we doing?
Favorite sandwich is a Cuban.
Okay. Nice.
Just want to say.
All right. To me, I roast beef sandwich. I'm pretty easy.
You know what? I am also partial to Monte Cristos, but I only get to eat it like once a year because it's just too rich.
Oh, Phil, ask me what my favorite sandwich is.
Tony, what's your favorite sandwich?
Phil, my favorite sandwich is a hot dog. Suck it, Brenda Roy. Bam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
for the first time, I started teaching kids younger than high school this academic year, and so I started off the year with is a hot dog a sandwich? That was our first.
What was the consensus?
Debate topic. Well, everyone always goes through when you ask a kid this. When you ask kids this the first time, the everyone's knee-jerk reaction is always that it's not a sandwich. But then they slowly get converted over once they hear the arguments. And so the consensus is that is a sandwich.
Okay. See, my argument has always been that, you're right. At the first, you're like, no, it's obviously not a sandwich. And you're like, well, okay. Right. There's literally nothing about it that would disqualify it from being a sandwich. And, well, it shares the same bun as like a Philly cheesesteak, and that's clearly a sandwich. It's the same shape of bun. Yeah, bologna's a meat that you can put on a sandwich, and that's literally the same meat that's in a hot dog. So does a slightly different shape really disqualify it for being a sandwich? I mean, if it's not a sandwich, what is it?
I mean, my God. Right. I mean, then every folded pizza is a taco by that standard. I mean, cats living with dogs. I mean, like, this is communist propaganda as far as I'm concerned.
I mean,
no, that is a question. Is a folded pizza a taco?
No, because that's a bread-based dough. That's not like generally you're looking at like corn or flour.
What if it's layer. A thin crust pizza and it's a Mexican pizza?
Well, then it's that's a taco pizza. Apparently, that's a
so if you fold a taco pizza, does it become a taco? That's a real question.
Soft taco. Yeah,
I think soft taco's a taco.
I think it's a spectrum. I think things can be more or less taco.
Nice. I think that's the most
Degrees of
internet
taco.
thing we could say in this whole discussion. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I
Aiko.
think Project Sad Face nails it. A folded pizza is a calzone. That's
so
and is a calzone a sandwich? We bring it full circle.
What you're saying is it's sandwich all the way down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything is a sandwich. Technically, an Oreo is a sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No,
It is, though.
No, this is too far. Our society has pushed us too far. Okay, if an Oreo is considered a sandwich, I don't know. I'm a sandwich reactionary.
I don't see what it violates that ice cream sandwich doesn't violate.
Yeah. And
because it is a cookie, motherfucker.
Oreos.
Ice cream sandwiches are made of cookies.
Oreo's own
There's ice cream in it.
Oreo is a sandwich cookie.
So if you put ice cream between two cookies, it's an ice cream sandwich. But if you just warm up that cream to where it's just the filling of
not
an
ice
Oreo,
cream, motherfucker. No,
it's just a cream sandwich.
No. Okay, this is communism
without
here.
the ice.
Okay, this is like, folks. I didn't know that I was being overrun by communists here on hazard analysis, that they think that Oreo is a sandwich.
Okay, you're not, Phil. I'm sorry to do this to you. I'm sorry, but here it is. This is Oreo's own website, and you're not gonna like this, but if I can actually get it, where'd it go? There it is. Well, let's get rid of the ad.
I was about to say
Oreo chocolate sandwich.
Okay,
cookie.
so the conspiracy goes deeper than I thought.
Yeah.
This is on
Damn it, it goes all the way to
Oreo.com.
Oreo.
What? Hold on. So what you're saying,
Oreo-cookie.
this is an interesting argument coming from Tony. What he's saying is a sandwich is anything that identifies as a sandwich.
Tony,
Since
are you
Oreo
going to surrender to the
since Oreo
self-identification of
self-identified as a sandwich, that means it must be a sandwich.
Well, they self-identify as a sandwich, and they meet all the qualifications of a sandwich.
Yeah,
It's
no,
got
I
a
agree.
top,
They
it's
do.
got a bottom and a middle.
Yeah, they do.
No,
Yeah.
Tony, I'm sorry, but sandwiches don't care about your feelings, okay? A sandwich is a sandwich. It has to have
the Oreo
pickles,
sandwich
has
cookie
to have-
doesn't care about
has to
your
have
feelings.
lettuce, tomatoes, meat on.
However you
I'm
enjoy
sorry.
your Oreo is fine with me.
Yeah.
I prefer milk.
Aiko eats an Oreo right in the middle of the God
You're
damn
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all marking me on this, but
That sounds
well, okay,
delicious.
like Aiko, like we were here to get into some other hard hit, but I'm glad we're getting into the hard hitting topics.
This is what
of-
really
like a
divides
hard
Americans.
cookie
Yeah.
outside
I was
and
about
the-
to
and
say,
the icy
like,
filling in the middle.
so like we solved the folded pizza. It's actually a calzone, and so it's bread all the way down. Anything
Yeah.
between two things in a sandwich, like a
Yeah.
sex sandwich.
Yeah.
I-
Well, those
Shouldn't we
are
say- Shouldn't we save the ice cream debate for the
That's fair.
Biden indictment? It's like, so
That's fair.
he had 3 scoops indictment. Like when somebody says it's sandwiched between them. Oh, son of a bitch. I was about to say, if we're going that far, then isn't a 3-car wreck a sandwich? Technically? I
a
mean,
car sandwich.
like,
Yeah.
sheesh. Cats living with dogs, up is down. The
We
world
do
is
say
a-
that. I guarantee you can find a police report that says that a car got sandwiched between two.
Oh,
other vehicles.
absolutely. Well, there you go. You've done it.
Like, yeah.
You've done
By
it.
the way, that's called anthemeria when you use a noun as a verb.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look at him using all his book learning stuff here on the hazard
Yeah.
analysis.
Yeah.
But no,
Okay, yeah.
we appreciate you here, Aiko. Now, Aiko, now that we're getting, oh god damn it, we just passed the next hour. So I think Tony should take all the beer chugs. We
What
just
happened?
passed the hour, so now it's
Yeah.
resetting on gin shots. And
Oh,
such.
right.
So God Almighty.
Sadly,
and
I
Lord
can only be I'll only be downing Topo Chico for this show.
that's fine.
Easy.
Woo.
You go slow on that.
Which is, by the way, the best soda. I'm told the best soda to mix with any other like form of alcohol that you would normally put soda in. It's Topo Chico. because it retains its fizz better than anything else.
I will have to look into that now.
Yeah.
I've never tried a Topo Chico.
It's it's the official like soda of the Southwest, I think. Like,
is it like Sprite?
No. It's just fizzy water. So it's the sort of thing you would put like in a gin and tonic or whatever, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I see it. Okay, I've seen these in a cup. They actually sell these at Wine, Beer, and Spirits up.
Okay, perfect.
Oh yeah,
so we can try them.
It retains its fizziness. So like, whereas like if you were to take like a what is it that's normally like
ginger
a buble or and yeah, but ginger ale has sugar in it. This is just just fizzy water.
Like Perrier.
Yeah, like Perrier, tonic water, the buble, all of those. But this, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but it tastes sharper on the tongue. Okay, here's a little secret. If you're trying to give up sodas, like sugary sodas, like Cokes and stuff, the reason you should go for Topo Chico is because there is something about the bubbly that's in a soda that activates the pain receptors on your tongue. And those pain receptors are associated like with the flavor of sodas or whatever. So if you're giving up sugar or you're trying to like stop drinking sodas because you're just found out you're diabetic or something, then if you drink these things, it'll sort of satisfy the craving of drinking a soda because it activates those pain receptors.
Interesting.
For whatever reason. I don't know why. People's tongues or BDSM or something.
I usually just slam a glass of water and then burn my tongue with a Bic.
Right. Yeah.
So
this sounds like a way better way to go.
Right.
So I got to give you credit, Aiko. So on your Friday night, okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. His adventurousness is a bottle of extra fizzy.
Yeah.
Like my God, like, jeez. God bless you.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I have a rule, so I really like beer, but hold on, I'm gonna go off camera just for another second.
That's fine. I gotta pour a double, so that's gonna finish off this bottle.
Phil, it's a triple.
So I really like beer. It's hard for me to imagine. Like I'm gonna have to figure out what this means.
Tony, you're a dick.
But my rule is I only drink socially. So if I'm like by myself and nobody's drinking with me, then I just don't drink because I know where that might. I know enough other people who've become alcoholics to where I just would want to like go to like.
Oh, we lost you there for a second. Tony, can you hear him?
No.
Sorry.
There he goes.
Sometimes my mic.
I gotta grab my other
new adapter for my computer. Anyway, so I don't know what that means for streaming because if people on stream are drinking, well, then am I drinking socially? Like I'm not.
Yes.
You know,
technically,
my dog might say that I'm drinking alone because look up and not see anybody else. But
if there's somebody within
other people on
stream
radius, virtually, so I don't know.
I mean,
maybe it means I can only virtually drink.
If somebody's around you in like a 50-yard radius that can like you can see, yeah, you're fine, totally fine. At least that's my rule. Phil, what'd you do?
I went and grabbed my Snoop Dogg gin.
Oh, because you have to do a triple.
Yeah, I do. I have to do a triple.
Yeah.
Dick. You know what? Because I can't think of any other any other, and this is a mixture of the last of my Brickway and one shot of Snoop Dogg. I'm just gonna do the classic Gaelic Irish toast again. To fighting, stealing, and drinking. If you're gonna fight, fuck you. May it be for a friend. If you're gonna steal, may it be a lover's heart. And if you're gonna drink, by God, I hope it's with me.
Oh, this looks so bad. Triple shot of gin. Oh, get it down. Keep it down. Swallow it.
See, talk about pain receptors.
Yeah. Oh, that actually like that hurt me.
Okay, Phil, sorry. What I was trying to say is my rule is I only drink socially. So I don't know what that means for being on stream. Because if people on stream are drinking, am I drinking socially? Can I have a beer at that point?
Yes.
That is an interesting question.
Yeah,
like
I've
some
never
people
had
would
to-
say yes, some people would say no.
Yeah,
No,
this is my
2020
first time.
proved the virtual bar was a thing, and it became a thing in 2020. So absolutely, it is no longer drinking alone.
In that case, I'll go get a couple 6-pack of like Dos Equis or something. And
Hells yeah. Hells yeah.
Sierra Nevada, my favorite beer.
Oh, nice.
It's very
Tony has to do a
simple.
beer check.
All right.
This is the high-minded content you come here for. Now, I was about to say, it's like we start getting into, is a root beer really a beer? Is it like,
All right. Pull me
all
up.
right,
It is.
ziggy zoggy, oi, oi, oi. Ziggy zoggy, oi, oi, oi. Ziggy zoggy, zig, oh, well done, Tony.
Ah,
Tony Go Down, the one human being to operate without an actual liver in his body. It's really amazing, folks.
I can answer the root beer question, or I can give you my opinion at least.
Rocket.
A legitimate root beer is technically a beer because it gets its fizziness from like yeast, like emitting gas. So it has trace amounts of alcohol in it because of that. So it is technically a beer. However, the way in which root beers are made today is they just take a bunch of CO2 and they infuse it into the liquid. And that is not a beer.
Okay. And this is why we call you the beard of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I used to be, I'm obsessed with coffee these days, but I used to be obsessed with beer. And so like all of the, as much as I like obsessively talk about coffee today, like if you'd found me 20 years ago, I would have been doing the same thing with beer. So I kind of still have a little bit of that beer knowledge kind of like residual. Like I haven't forgotten it all.
Well, sheesh. You should
I used to make my own beer.
You should start doing coffee reviews. Like that would actually tell you which kind of coffees would be worth a shit. Because
oh, yeah.
I'm just getting new into it because I've heard, now again, not to be construed as actual medical advice, but I've heard that drinking coffee can actually help mitigate a few, not all, but a few of the negative health effects associated with drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
So I've been getting a little interested in the possibility of drinking coffee.
We could collab on making an Irish coffee.
yes.
Oh,
we could do a video essay on that.
Delicious.
Actually, that's a perfect tie-in because right now on my YouTube channel in KOE Nation, we're doing the 32 Irish Whiskey Tournament of Extreme, where we're going to find out actually next week, the championship match, what is the best Irish whiskey in all God's creation. The last semifinal just dropped today. The championship match is actually Redbreast 15 versus Tullamore Dew 15. And so Redbreast 15 is a lot easier to find. So that would be an excellent one for any kind of Irish coffee. And there's actually a bar in San Francisco that's like their specialty. And like if you watch it on YouTube,
standard Tullamore Dew.
And they'll make like 20 of these things at a time. They're like wiping out the cream all at the same time. And it's quite a process to watch.
My uncle actually went there to that bar and got one, figured out how to make it. It's actually very simple. And I went over one Sunday. He was having one. I'm like, well, I'd love to try that. And he showed me how to make. They are fucking delicious. Like, it's dangerous. Like, I went over a Sunday morning, and that was a very fun Sunday.
Tony, you want to share that recipe with me, or put it on stream one day?
I sure can. I will. I'll double check with him.
All right. How about this? I'll go to the liquor store. You tell me what to get, like for Irish, for all of this stuff, like what you just mentioned, Phil, like that brand, and then like whatever, and I'll get a couple of those, and I'll start a little bar here in the apartment, and then I still will only drink socially, but what I can do is I can use my new document camera, which I've been using for debate note taking and stuff, and I can point it at my coffee setup, so we can figure out, okay, do we
go.
do this with drip, or do we do it with a like watered down espresso? Like, what's the best way to get like, because if my theory is if you do espresso like watered down espresso, because it uses pressure, is a lot more oily, and I suspect that oiliness would mix well with like the whipped cream, and you would get like a really sort of luscious Irish coffee doing it.
So you've got to, it's that little stir you get off like Amazon with the circular spring. You push the button, it spins to like mix up something like a very simple.
Oh, right. One of those coffee mugs with the magnetic.
Yep. Yeah, one of those little stirs, and you take like, I think it's just heavy whipping cream. I'll have to remember for sure, but you just whip that up. You get like the coffee, you dump in the shot, I believe, and then you like scrape the mixture that you whipped up on top of it. I can't remember which step is which, but yeah, I can get it. And it's absolutely delicious. But all you need is just Tullamore Dew, regular green bottle Tullamore Dew, and apparently that's the best thing you can use.
When you're talking about espresso, this is actually a very famous drink. It's called the espresso martini. And Kate Moss went into one of the most famous bars in LA. This is years ago. And she walks in, and it's kind of early in the morning, and she'd been up all night the night before. And she tells the bartender, I need something that's going to wake me up and fuck me up. And the espresso martini, it's now like, and there's a bunch of different, like if you just Google espresso martini, there's a bunch of different recipes, but they're all kind of generally the same. But yeah, that is one of the great iconic Hollywood coffee drinks is the espresso martini.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to try that. I've never tried one of those. I do enjoy a good Irish coffee, but I've never had an espresso martini. So we'll have to try that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it once, like me, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but once you realize that like coffee is just another way that people have figured out a way to mix their alcohol in, then it's like, oh, okay, it's a whole new world. Whole new world opens up to you. But all right, so espresso martinis, the Irish coffee. Is there any other coffee booze mixes we need to get into before we shift gears here, gents?
No, I think we need to get back to Trump.
Was my ham-fisted segue. But so
he's a teetotaler, though. I mean, that's a strike against.
Yeah, that's like, I'll be honest with you. Like me and Tony, and I still need to finish it. There's about 11 presidents I need to finish yet for my presidential birthday toast series because I got most of them, but there's about 11 I didn't get. But like I got Clinton, I got Obama, I got both Bushes. I got Trump. Now, Trump and Biden are kind of tricky because, like you said, they're both teetotalers. For Trump, it was easy because there's the Trump vineyard. So you can do Trump wine. So that at least makes a measure of sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Biden, it's a little trickier because doing an ice cream sundae doesn't quite. So I guess maybe
that's just it. I think you would have to do a cream, like a cream-based drink.
And
like a root beer float with like a vodka mix or something. I don't know. Like
Adderall sprinkled on top of it.
Now, actually, when Congress actually confirmed Joe Biden, I actually mixed a punch romaine as a toast to Joe Biden. Now, for those who don't know, punch romaine was the last drink served on the Titanic right before it sank. And so it's like, all right, to you, Joe. And when I had it, it was fucking delicious. Oh my God, it was amazing. Like it was orange juice, it was pineapple juice, it was white wine, and it was white rum, all shaken together with an egg white. And the egg white kind of gave it almost like a baked goods kind of like quality. And then you pour it in the glass and then you top it off with champagne. Like whatever room is left in the glass, you top it with champagne. It was fucking spectacular.
If you're going to do a Biden drink, it's got to be like something with Bailey, like just a White Russian or something. Like it's got to be something with Bailey's in it.
Actually, a White Russian would
or
be
some
perfect.
kind of, yeah.
He wants a virgin White Russian with ice cream. So you want milk with a scoop of ice cream in it.
Yeah, let me get a white Ukrainian.
A white Ukrainian, just call it that. A white Ukrainian, that's good.
Ukrainian.
So you change the recipe a little bit, make it more Ukrainian somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, instead of
I'm sure Ukraine makes vodka
you
somewhere.
use maggoteers.
And
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there you go. And then, of course, for Trump, I don't know. I don't know enough about drinks to know what it would be made out of, but I would love to have a drink called Man, Person, Woman, Camera, TV.
Okay, man, person.
So that would be 5
woman.
ingredients, right? Like, and I don't know how things mix. So like, I don't have the knowledge
man, person, woman, camera, TV. Okay. And there would have to be a hint of orange hue to the drink.
Yeah. That would be the person, right? It'd be an orange person.
Okay. All right. And then man, woman. So it'd need a drink with a feminine quality. So maybe a spritz of champagne. Man, woman, person, TV.
Yeah. Man, person, woman, camera, TV was the order.
Camera. Okay. That'd be a tough one. Put a shot of Fireball in there, because the minute people start drinking Fireball, they start doing things on camera they regret.
If you wanted a shot that reminded you of Donald Trump, it would have to be half a shot of orange juice with some peach in it, some peach tree. Fill that up, and then you leave about a third of the shot glass open for some lemon meringue. You know what? It's like an orange face with a blonde head of hair.
That Trey had a perfect. I mean, yes, of course, Diet Coke has to be in it, right?
Yes, so Diet Coke.
Maybe that overrides the man, person, woman, camera, TV thing, because Diet Coke really is like the drink that he's most associated.
That was my first toast to Donald Trump, was Diet Coke, because that makes sense. Because I hadn't made my order to Trump wine yet. It's like, fuck, I ain't got this shit in yet. So I was like, fuck, birthday's coming. And funny enough, out of my 2 Trump birthday toasts, one of them got 30 views. The other one that I did with Trump wine, it's my second most popular fucking video I've ever done. Just overnight, it had thousands of views. What the fuck is going on? And people are commenting it. I love Trump. Fuck Trump. I love Trump. Fuck Trump. And it's like, how the fuck did this happen? And so that it's kind of, you never know which one's going to catch on. But one of my Trump toasts, and I actually am keeping one bottle of Trump Cabernet Sauvignon that was dated 2017, because it was grown, pressed, bottled, aged, sold, all while Donald Trump was president of the United States. So in the future, that'll be a presidential curiosity.
I was going to ask you, while we're on a little bit tangential to that subject, now that we've had those massive atmospheric rivers that just kept hitting California over and over and over again, they're totally out of drought, or if they're not now, they will be by the time the snow belt hits in the spring. So what's that going to do to the California wines? Because you said you kept a few that were right before the big drought hit, that you were able to get, or before a lot of wildfires and stuff wiped out.
There was a fire that went through Napa Valley, and I've got one particular bottling of Duckhorn that they will never be able to recreate ever again.
Right.
And so I'm really, that's one of those that God, it's so rare now. I'm wondering what kind of special occasion to do it.
But you guys understand this better than I ever could. But one of the sort of silver linings of these fires, of course, is that a lot of carbon gets put into the ground, right? Because of the fire. So that, plus the combination of now very available water, groundwater and reservoir water, that combination surely will lead to some really unique varietals at some point, right?
Oh yeah. Depends on the weather.
Yeah. Because with wine, especially, there's something called terroir, where you take into consideration, I'm sure you're kind of a wine guy yourself. Or at least you're telling me about some wine adventures in Europe, but they kind of take into consideration the quality of the soil, the weather that year, how much rain they got, how dry it was, how hot it was. All this stuff comes together to make certain vintages. And if the terroir is just perfect in this area, then that's the vintage you want to go for. And so it really kind of that extra water definitely helps. We've had some back and forth on this before in the past, Iko, about California doesn't really have a lot of appetite to capture a lot of that water that keeps escaping into the ocean. And
until recently,
yeah, Yeah, well, yeah, and then when I bring up this, it's like all I get back is environment. Like I get it, I get the environment's important, but I'm
Not for
sitting here
me.
on team people.
I'm from Texas. We have
You're like-
man-made lakes. Like I think we're second only to like Michigan or something for man-made lakes, or Wisconsin or whatever.
Well,
Like,
yeah, because
we a shit ton of man-made lakes here, and it's come in like it's saved our butts multiple times. I absolutely think that California needs to learn from Texas on that.
Here, nice.
Yeah.
And I got some kinfolk in California that are not liking to hear that. But like now, let's see.
Phil.
Sorry, I was just checking. I got my messages in. Ty's probably not going to be in, but all right.
Jesus,
now,
I think he's been through enough pain today, Phil.
I was about to say, my
Speaking
torment
of pain
Ty is
receptors, we need to get him some Topo Chico. Has
nice.
Did he make it to the? Because I think he had something today or yesterday. Like he was going to get access to a dentist finally, or like finally get something done.
He said he's got his pain managed, but if he didn't, he'd be in a lot of pain right now. So I'm betting if we brought Ty on right now, I'd be like, the light is purple. Like
that might be a reason to get him on. Yeah.
That was my first thought. I was like, okay, now we have to get him on. It's like he's gonna be so agreeable, and so he's not gonna be Ty Furious D. He's gonna be like he's gonna be like a little more chilled out. We find him in the comments here. Fuck you, Phil. Oh, okay. But now, all right, Aiko, we've sung and danced around it for Tony, I'd say a minute or two, right?
Yeah, a
few minutes. Now, Aiko, I don't know if you've heard, but there was a little thing that went down not too long ago. I'm sure you've probably only grazed one article over maybe two real quick. But yeah, Donald Trump's been indicted. You heard?
Oh yeah. I actually wasn't paying attention to it because it was happening at the same time as the biggest election of the year was happening, which was in Wisconsin. And so I actually really haven't had a chance to like really delve into like I haven't seen the transcript of like, what happened at the hearing and everything that was said and all that. I just don't know.
I've
a little bit. I've paid attention to a little bit, but not.
Okay. So I was about to say, like, so you've managed to find a way to contain your excitement, Aiko. That's good. That's good.
Well, I've already said this is kind of, it's the weakest of all of the indictment efforts that are happening like around the country, and so it's the one like I just really don't give a shit about it as much. But yeah, like I do have some opinions on it. I just, relative to all of the other things, it's just underwhelming to me.
Well, yeah, like even like I hate to like reference him as some sort of authority, but like I remember Destiny was saying that like, if they don't have something more in these indictments, then I don't know what the fuck. And then there wasn't anything more. So like you said, these are very weak. And I do get the feeling like Bragg campaigned on the idea that he's going to get Trump. And so the idea that this isn't a political proceeding is kind of
just like Trump campaigned on putting Hillary in prison.
Yeah, but he didn't actually do anything.
We tried.
And
here's the thing. I touched on this earlier. I said Trump campaigned and his biggest punchline was you'd be in jail. And we found out just quickly where the actual power in directing the flow of the police state goes. And guess what? 4 years of him being in the White House, how hard did he get to actually go after Hillary? He didn't get to do a goddamn thing. Let's see, actually just not even, a year into Biden's tenure, and they were able to, we're looking at essentially the 5th impeachment of Donald Trump we've established. And I was thinking it's 4, but you're right, Phil, it's 5. We had 2 impeachments, one while he was in, one on the way out. We had the January 6 hearings, we had the Mar-a-Lago raid, and now we have the indictment. And guess what? They're all fucking weak, but it's been revealed full force which side of the aisle the police state is empowered by. And if you want to argue that, I'm willing to listen, but the facts are facts. And if Donald Trump actually could have done something about Hillary Clinton, like, she's as guilty as he is in terms of paperwork. Let's be frank. Let's be honest.
If he could have, he would have. But the
But he
problem,
couldn't.
He
But he
did
couldn't.
because he decided when he got into power, he's not going to look back. And it's also, he knew that once he got into power, it's a
I
real
don't know
bad,
about
no,
that.
once he got in
He's
power,
been
he knew
looking
it was a
back
real
his whole
bad look to go after your political opposition because it makes
Not
it
if
look
it
like
was
a
your
banana republic like
catchphrase.
Biden does.
he's
That-
never cared
that
about
viral
that.
clip of him saying that wouldn't have been going back. That would have been a promise.
Trump's been
fulfilled.
all about image and perception his entire career. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
okay, then don't say it.
But he's about going back.
Well, no, that
too,
was
constantly.
what he was saying. Now, if I wanted to be particularly slippery and pretend to not know exactly what you're talking about, because I do despise when people play pretend, but like if I wanted to be particularly slippery, what I would say is, well, he didn't say he's going to put her in jail. He said if he was already in charge, she would be in jail. You see, now that's the kind of argumentation that I would get from folks on Twitch or in Ty's Discord. But like I recognize what you're saying, but keep in mind that was rhetoric that he said. He didn't actually pursue anybody.
Well, he
didn't
did.
go, and the reason
He
is
didn't have the
it's
power
exactly
to do
like
so.
Rush Limbaugh said once the day after he got inaugurated. No, Trump is not going to be looking back. He's going to be looking forward, and he's going to care about the agenda. He's not going to try to go after his political opposition.
Because it was a pipe dream. It was an open-ended fucking promise and threat that he knew he had no actual endeavor into doing. So it was a fucking audio clip. It was a viral clip, and that's what it was.
So like,
you guys remember?
So Iko, you agree that indicting and going after your political opposition and weaponizing the legal system against somebody, we all agree that that's wrong, right?
Yeah, sure. I agree that that's wrong.
Okay.
I just don't agree that that's happening. But here's my.
Sorry, but
response.
Objectively, that is happening. Alan Bragg campaigned on "I'm going to get Donald Trump." So that is objectively, measurably, verifiably exactly what's happening. We've weaponized the law enforcement.
Verifiably, Trump made those same promises, except when
so you do verify that that's a bad thing, though. Your attempt to deflect and equivocate is irrelevant. You do acknowledge that is a wrong thing to do, though, despite any attempt at deflection or equivocation or whataboutism.
No, yeah, I agree in general, but I don't agree
but that's exactly what's happening. There's no way.
No, that's not. That's where I disagree.
I mean, he campaigned on "I'm going to get Trump." So I'm sorry. At that point, objectively, our law enforcement has been weaponized and politicized.
I still need to finish the quarter of a sentence that I was saying before you pivoted 5 times. What I'm saying,
I didn't pivot once. I'm just trying to keep you on track here.
Another one. So all I'm saying,
that's just a correction, is
that when Trump came into office, all right, one of the first things he did was set up meetings with Jeff Sessions to talk about what he could do to go against Hillary. And remember the whole him being mad that Sessions was recusing himself from anything having to do with Hillary. Trump was furious. And so then all of that stuff
from the Comey stuff.
Well, yeah, that's all connected. Like he made a promise when he was appointed that he would not involve himself in any efforts to go after Hillary. That would have to be by an independent counsel if it were going to be anything. And he couldn't find any justifications for doing so, which was part of the reason why Trump was so furious at Sessions. And then the same thing, except Barr wanted to accomplish what Sessions wouldn't do, but he couldn't find anything either. And that was the problem, is that there was a campaign promise on the deck that they had to deliver. People were chanting, lock her up, continually. And if you want to say that 1-6 was just another impeachment, then I would say that the 17 Benghazi investigations were impeachments in advance of someone that they thought might run for president in 2016. And so, 17 impeachments versus 5 or whatever. If you want to call them that, then let's call it. Yeah, sure. Because there were 17 different
war crime
Benghazi investigations. Yeah.
Wait, so you don't think we should have?
Mar-a-Lago raid is like the Benghazi?
Which of them? Like there were 17 of them.
I'm sorry,
many
man,
of them run by Republicans.
Hold
on. 17 of them, many of them run by Republicans. 17 out of 17 cleared Hillary. Not a single one of them, like even so much as like recommended that a grand jury be impaneled on anything because they couldn't identify a crime. 17 out of 17.
Well, it's kind of hard to convict on lack of action when you should have done something and you didn't. And that's the entire problem with the Benghazi entire issue, is that nothing was done. And because of it, 4 Americans died.
Sort of like,
so, I'm sorry, we deserve to get
sort
to
of like you should have paid your taxes.
Find out as much as possible as we could. And don't pretend like we don't know everything. And actually, we didn't know everything about January 6th until Tucker actually started releasing footage to the public and we started knowing more.
Yeah,
and
sure. If you have video, look, if you have videos of a guy committing a crime and then also videos of that same person walking peacefully after the crime, yeah, you can say they should,
or being escorted down the hall and doors open for him. You know,
being escorted, being escorted, right, because they knew if they didn't.
And then him praying for the officers later after they escorted him in front of a big speech. So I mean, like, I'm sorry, like the timeline for everything that happened to the Buffalo hat guy doesn't really add up. And to be frank, I think that was a moron that just got railroaded.
If I have video of Trump shooting somebody on Fifth Avenue, right, but then praying afterwards, that's totally exculpatory, right?
There was a guy that was literally sitting like, that they were trying to prosecute.
Yeah, none of that ever happened.
To the hardest degree that was in the Capitol
I know.
for
Trump
less
praying
than 2 full minutes. Be a
very difficult thing.
Like
he never shot anybody. But no, he's prayed many times. Hell, he held up the Bible in front of that church. Just
but what I'm saying is a video of somebody doing
very religious man.
A video of somebody doing nothing isn't evidence that they've done nothing. We have other videos.
Actually, it kind of is. If there's video of them doing nothing, that's evidence of them doing nothing.
Of them,
I mean, you said if there's video of them doing nothing, that's not evidence of them doing nothing. That sort of is.
A video of somebody.
It's like if you get a video of me,
not evidence of
somebody
doing something.
I can't say I didn't fuck that person. What are you talking?
That's great. By that same logic, then I would say that he was charged with nothing, right? That is to say, he was charged of all the things he was charged with plus nothing. Using that same logic. Yeah, sure.
No, you said if you're filming someone doing nothing, that's not proof of them doing nothing. Sort of is. But no, like there's no actual evidence.
I'll say well, there was. He pled guilty himself because there was so much evidence. We know for a fact that he trespassed. We know for a fact that he
oh shit, I thought we were talking about Trump here for a second. Like, wait, what? Trump pled guilty to whoa. Wait, bigger headline here. But no, okay, I get you. You're talking about Buffalo hat guy.
You're talking about QAnon Trump.
You're a pretty straight-laced guy. You're a guy that's lived your life on the right side of the law. Okay, I think that'd be
not always,
but for the most part. It's one of those, like, most people, at least in these parts, like, okay, any motherfucker, may he or she who has not pled to lesser charges because the prosecutor was going to try and put him away for 20 fucking years, cast the first stone. Yeah. Okay, like, let's be frank. He's like, he pled guilty. That's kind of a horseshit thing. Like,
is the plea bargain a new concept? Because I don't think it is.
All right, they've been investigating Hillary Clinton for 30 years, right? You would think she would plea down by now if they had something, or even if they were able to, as you say.
Well, no, do you agree that she destroyed evidence after she was given a subpoena?
I was for impeaching. I was for.
But no, do you agree that she in fact destroyed evidence after getting a subpoena?
What? Look, rule number 1: never interrupt somebody when they're agreeing with you. And yes,
you've never met me before.
You're talking about in the shredders. You're talking about the shredders in the 1990s, right? Like with the Whitewater stuff.
No, I'm talking about with the BleachBit server where she deleted her 33,000 emails after getting a subpoena. Do you agree that indeed happened?
Oh, you're talking about like the hammering of the cell phones and whatever?
Yeah, destroying all the digital evidence. Do you agree that she destroyed evidence after getting a subpoena in that regard?
No, I agree that because it was the State Department
evidence against
standard is that when you're done with a device, you have to destroy it if it had confidential information on it. And yeah, she did. She followed that guidance. It's true.
You don't do no. She did that after she got a subpoena, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not going to get away with that one. I'm sorry. That's pure bullshit. It's really man. I'm sorry. She gets a subpoena and then destroys evidence against her, which is documented. This is documented. Comey just said for the first time, I'm not going to take intent into account. There was no intent.
I'm going to borrow a page. I'm going to borrow a page from Phil KOE here.
Oh, this will be brilliant.
And say that during the Trump administration, because he had all the levers of government at that point, and you can either say it was corruption or incompetence under which he was unable to prove the very facts that you're claiming to prove in your court of law here. And
no, Comey said he's not going to prosecute because he just didn't feel like bringing intent into it. That's his exact words.
But Trump fired Comey.
There's no court of law. This is just objective fact that was spoken from the head of the FBI's mouth.
Hold on.
And he's just going to give Clinton skating for reasons by Trump, justifiably. Thank God for it too.
Yeah, and so, but he's not a prosecutor. The prosecutors are in DOJ. The prosecutors don't have to wait for.
So the FBI doesn't file charges. Is that what you're trying to put forward? The FBI doesn't file charges.
No. I'm saying that the FBI.
The FBI doesn't file charges.
I'm saying that the FBI doesn't have to file charges in order for the DOJ to do its own investigation or to prosecute.
Dude, come on.
Okay, look at Jack Smith.
Come on.
Look at Jack Smith. Is Jack Smith getting a referral from the FBI, or is he? He's the special prosecutor under Trump. He works for the DOJ, and the DOJ doesn't have to wait for the FBI to do shit.
I know that, but you're saying the FBI doesn't bring. The FBI could have very well brought charges.
No,
that's what they do. Yes,
no, it's not.
God. Dude, the FBI charges people all the fucking time.
No, they don't. They make criminal referrals to the DOJ, which then makes charges.
And why didn't Comey after she objectively destroyed evidence, if not for the fact that there was corruption within the FBI?
Yeah, but
there's no other reason. There is no other reason. She objectively destroyed evidence after getting a subpoena. There is no other reason other than corruption, which makes his firing justifiable, not just justifiable, but necessary.
You think I'm making an argument that I'm not. I don't care about Comey's firing. I think Comey's firing worked out quite well for Democrats, in fact. But
no, I'm saying that's why he's fired, because he didn't pursue charges when he could, should have, actually.
But I don't care about Comey. What I care about is that the Trump administration, through its DOJ, didn't need Comey for that. And Trump I agree with you that Trump was under the impression that if he fired Comey, he could get the next guy to do whatever he wanted. But in fact, it didn't matter. Like it
didn't matter. You just get rid of an insubordinate that's not on your team. If they're not on your team, get rid of them.
Yeah, he did.
And good. He did. That was one of the better decisions he made in his early administration.
And that led to the prosecution of Hillary, right?
Unfortunately, no, because
so is it is it corrupt?
Well, no, because even you've said the deep state is sort of a holdover of previous administrations, and so the deep state that was loyal to the Clintons made sure that she got away with it. Let's be frank. That's what actually happened.
They don't make decisions.
That's a spoiler alert,
The decisions
folks.
are made by the people at the top who Trump appoints. So Trump appointed
the people
Sessions.
Who are over Trump.
Trump appointed Sessions and then got rid of Sessions and then appoined Barr and then got rid of Barr and then appointed whoever else he wanted.
Wasn't Barr around till the end?
Barr resigned because he wouldn't lie for Trump over.
Are we really going to pretend that the reason that Hillary wasn't indicted or persecuted, that because she did nothing wrong, there was no evidence to prove that she did anything wrong, and she's just so squeaky clean? Or is it because of the trail of bodies that are behind her? I don't know. It's a mystery to me.
Well, again, you're either appealing to the Trump administration's corruption or incompetence. One of the two.
Well, no, I'm appealing to DC's corruption.
The fact that Donald Trump,
DC is a corrupt city, had nothing to do with
even
Trump
once
himself.
He was in office, had to battle most of the other government to do fucking anything. So yeah, I don't think that it really came down to, Hillary was pretty squeaky clean.
He's got
the right person to fabricate evidence.
He's got a majority of the Supreme Court. He's got every agency. Not only did he fire people, every single person at the top of every agency.
So you'd be surprised if Hillary.
We had this debate a few weeks ago about the deep state and how well ingrained they are into the government, and there's things that even the presidents can't get rid of within the deep state. And you were talking about how that's a good thing, and I think that's complete bullshit and horseshit, because guess what? The deep state isn't in the Constitution. If you want holdovers of previous administrations, that's the judicial branch. And so fuck the deep state. If there was a clean sweep of all of them and they all just went home with their pensions, I'd be happy.
Well, there's a reason that he's saying the Clintons are innocent and the deep state's a good thing, because they're the same thing.
I agree with that. The deep state's a good thing. Deep state is the one thing that's holding back
Biden
from getting a lot of the stuff that he wants to do, because there are holdovers from the Trump administration that won't do everything uncritically. That
the
Biden
deep state isn't elected. Fuck them. Nobody elected those fucks. Fuck them.
My pet name for those appointees is the shallow state, but either way, like it's
like the deep state, nobody elected them. They're not, they represent nothing except for the deepest, most entrenched political class interests.
I thought we weren't a democracy. I thought we weren't supposed to.
We are a representative republic, true, but no, nobody elected these fuckers. Nobody appointed them to anything.
People who were elected appointed them.
No, nobody. Okay, but then they need to go once the person that's elected fucking gets out of office. And if you think, well, they should hold over. No, that's what the judiciary is for. So fuck the deep state and fuck them deep. Okay? Because that's what they're doing to all of us. Because trust me, the deep state doesn't give a fuck about you, doesn't give a fuck about me. It gives a fuck about keeping the powerful even more powerful, fat, and fucking happy at all of our expense.
I would fuck the deep state, but it would have to buy me dinner first, all right? That's all I'm saying.
It ain't buying you.
What if you buy it dinner first? Like, I mean, come on.
Well, it depends on what they're wearing. The deep state would have to wear a pretty short dress.
I don't know. What do the Skull and Bones usually wear during their meetings?
You're going to be going out. Usually, you're going to be going out on a date with somebody in the Eyes Wide Shut mask.
Yeah, usually items with like elephants on them. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
That's usually what they wear.
That's what they're wearing then. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
No, the deep state. Okay, if the deep state's a good thing and Hillary was innocent, I can see why you think that now.
Yeah, I can agree with both those statements. Yeah.
I see why you agree with both those statements. They're the same statement. That's the picture. Corporate needs you to see the different. Tell us the difference between these two pictures.
Sure.
They're the same picture.
They're the same picture.
Yeah. They're the same picture.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But the deep state, also got Trump elected. So, like, there were plenty of people.
The deep state tried to do everything to stop Trump from getting elected.
Do you know? Have you ever heard of Trumplandia?
Trumplandia.
Yeah, look it up.
Explain that to folks who don't know.
Trumplandia is the a subset of the New York FBI that was very pro-Trump and did a lot of things that they could to run interference with him in the many years before the 2016 election. And Trumplandia had a lot to do with the advice that was given to Comey to release that memo that very well may have been the reason that Trump was elected.
It's like, boy, a pro-Trump element of the FBI. That's like, well, like, okay, Iko, God bless you, but I don't know if I can let you get away with telling me some shit I can't believe on acid.
There was a guy that didn't necessarily want to bag on Trump in the FBI. That's what you just said.
Like, so I'll look at that. Feel free to drop a link in the chat. We'll definitely send it out to the folks. But like that's one of those like, okay, some pro-Trump FBI. Like,
so what you just said sounded like.
I feel like I'm on Ayahuasca or something.
What you just said sounded like what Canada would do in the event of a global war. They'd send one guy out on a jet ski with a shotgun, fire off a couple rounds, and then they'd drive the fuck home.
So yeah, like so that like I get what you're trying to get at there, but when you're saying the deep state got Trump elected, the deep state was doing everything to like from the minute he showed up, they were trying to take this guy out. Even in the first debates, do you remember? Megyn Kelly. She tried to like, Donald Trump, you hate women and you've been awful to women, and what do you have to say for yourself? And he goes, only to Rosie O'Donnell. and just destroys the question.
That
And
was
so he was
beautiful.
able to sidestep it.
Well, there's a
Trey,
solution
is
to that.
something that
if you don't like the way Fox News handled 2016 or the way they handle a lot of because I know you and I have talked about this before. Like you and I agree that Trump and like Rupert Murdoch are definitely not like on the same side. They're more Mitch McConnell type organization, right?
Yeah.
What would you like to see done about it? Like Dominion, like that Dominion lawsuit is like coming down the bend. Like I think it's going to be a big number at the end of the day. Like
the people that Donald Trump lost over Dominion and election fraud are the people that are going to be coming back in the fold now that they're seeing for the 5th time he's being wrongfully indicted, investigated, or impeached.
Yeah, wait, hold
on. Because he ran a lot of people off on his own, and they're all going to come back.
You got to understand, like, Tony is the most moderate, normie motherfucker I've ever known in my life. God bless him, but his politics infuriate me. Okay? When he took the political compass test, he literally is on the goddamn fence between left and right. He straddles that shit. It infuriates me to no end. And, like, trust me, after in the aftermath of Trump...
Send me a link to that test, because there's so many different tests. I'd like to take it myself.
Oh, okay.
I think you'd be a little bit surprised, like how many. It's a little bit different now because like what Republicans believe has shifted so much, but like a lot of the positions that I have are like sort of pre-Trump Republican positions, and I'd say about not all of them. Like I'd say about 30% of them. But
we will send that to you after the show, and be sure to send us the results, and we'll kind of compare that to everybody else. Because but
we should post that somewhere, like a permalink.
Now, what's funny is for me, I'm all the way to the right, but I'm off by one little metric. I'm like, damn it! I'm way more liberal than I thought I'd be. Like,
but you're also kind of. I wouldn't say you're liberal. I'd say you're kind of horseshoe, right? Like where some of your positions are so far right that they're kind of agree with like the radical left on some things, like especially like things like protectionism, right?
Well, like it's something that I say that the radical left agrees with, which I'm always a little cautious, but it's one of those things that it's just objectively true, is that the moderate has always been the enemy of real change. And like whether it's good or bad, the moderate will always try to stop real substantive, meaningful change because they don't want to see the boat rock too much. And so like that's something that like me being on fairly far to the right, when I say that, folks on the far left also agree with, which I find that very interesting. It's like, okay.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Tony, what's your take on that?
I think it's hilarious because.
Well, hold on, Tony. That in a lot of ways, that's in support of you, right? Because he said whether it's good change or bad change. Like, moderates certainly would have been good, like in the 1920s.
What he means by good change or bad change is whether it's good for the Republicans or good for the Democrats. Let's not.
Tony, I take umbrage to that remark.
We know what he meant without saying what he meant.
Never. I don't know what you're talking about, T.
Even though if we talk about actual change and splitting the 2-party system, and that would be a big fucking change. That'd be the end of days. And no, you don't see what you support is just you don't support change. In fact, I'm going to come up with other reasons why you hate change even more now.
Ranked choice voting, Tony. That's what you need.
Yeah.
No, God. Now. Let's be frank. For ranked choice voting, for 2024, folks, your first ranked choice should, of course, be Bill KOE for president, because I will actually be making this guy here, Iko Rich, my head of the EPA. At first, he didn't want the job at all, which I was like, oh, well, fuck, now you have to have the job. I'm sorry. Like, that's kind of
I still don't want it.
Of course. That's why you're utterly qualified for it, because it's like, I don't want any fucks who want power controlling power in DC. So they're like, no, it's like, nope, Iko, he's coming here to run the EPA, and then once he's done, he's going back to being a debate coach. It's kind of the way the founders intended that shit. Okay.
Right.
Trey Parro, there's only one party. Government is just the most expensive game of hopscotch. There are people that are calling it the uniparty because, like you were saying, Iko, there's Rupert Murdoch, and he likes the Mitch McConnells of the world. And then let's be frank, there's the Nancy Pelosi's and the Charles Schumers and the folks who kind of run the Democratic Party. Like those folks get along a lot more than I bet anybody wants to admit. It's kind of like Tony with wrestling, where the they're like, I'm going to beat your ass and take your title this Sunday. And then the camera's cut and they get in the back like, hey, so you wanna catch lunch, Bob? Fuck yeah, let's get some lunch. So like I bet
what's that Looney Tunes thing where with the sheepdog and the and the whatever it was, the wolf, I guess that's trying to
punch in and punch out.
They punch out and then they just you
go have a drink.
Morning, Greg. Morning, Clark.
Yeah, right before they like pound each other's heads in.
Yep, they punch in and they're like beating the shit out of each other all day. They punch out, go sit down, have a drink. I could actually see that. It's like there's I forget who it is, but it's like People Will Die was the name of the song. And it's like, if those people didn't want people to die, and it's these people who are on the congressional floor, and it's like, you want to die. And then, hey, Tim, dinner at 5? So unfortunately, that's where our politics is sort of headed. But like now, I will say, Aiko.
Headed?
No, that's where it's coming from.
Headed. That's where it's headed?
From. Yeah. That's where it's been for a long time.
You think this is as bad as it can get, fellas? No,
it can get worse, but that's we're already
you think these are the dark ages of our American politics? We are heading to ages darker than you have ever known. That's the unfortunate reality of it. But wrestling is more real than government, says Trey. I wish that wasn't true. But like now, Aiko, like we've got the Trump indictments that we've been working through here, and it's a big legal issue. Now, before we move on here, because it's hazard analysis, I'm going to ask you both, what is the hazard of this going forward, and what is your finishing analysis on the Trump question before we move on? So, Aiko, since you are our guest this evening, I will allow you to open this. What do you believe is the hazard going forward? And then your closing analysis.
Well, if we're talking about this indictment, or if you're just talking about indictments in general, those are two different answers.
This indictment.
I would say the hazard is that it's the weakest of all the indictments, because I think the one it's the one that requires like the most explanation, like to the public. So if you were to look at Georgia, for instance, all you got to do is play that audio tape, of him like talking to Raffensperger about the votes he wants him to find. And that in and of itself, like, wouldn't require a whole lot of explanation. So that makes it a much stronger case than this, which is like 34 repeating indictments where there's like 4 for each check that was written. And then you've got to explain what an escalatory crime is, which is a crime that New York doesn't have to prosecute. It just has to show that the intent was to cover up for that crime. And so that's 2 steps, right? If you have to do 2 steps instead of 1 step, that makes it harder. Like it makes it easy to obfuscate as well. And so I just don't like any of it. Like I would much rather that he drag his feet on this and have the first indictments come out of Georgia or Jack Smith. But Jack Smith's indictments won't be anytime soon, because federal government, they crawl. So I would much rather like Georgia have the start of it. But then you've also got indictments in the state of New York, one of which is already done, the 17 criminal indictments for the Trump Organization. And then the next one is like the $200 million civil suit that is against Trump directly, and not just the organization. And then the potential, because we haven't gotten a decision on this yet, criminal violations on those same tax charges. I've got a friend of mine who is like a natural gas guy, like he's like a quarter billionaire or whatever. And he was always saying, there's no way they'll get Trump on anything, because the presidents are too powerful. You just never get them. And then when that tax thing came out, because he knows taxes, because he pays out the butt for him. He was like, yeah, I don't know anybody at my level of wealth who could get away with this criminally. So of all of those things, the one that comes out first is like Stormy Daniels. Like it doesn't, that's the hazard, because then everything might get connected to this like later on, when none of that other stuff has anything to do with this one.
So you're worried about Bragg might have just wanted to grab some headlines and jump out ahead early, and it's going to kind of tarnish the rest of the investigations.
Yeah, or he couldn't he couldn't drag his feet any longer. Like he already had people resigning from his office because he wasn't bringing prosecutions, and people felt that they had a case, and he was slowing it down. He was slow walking everything. And at some point it became untenable for him to run his office if he wasn't going to actually do something. I mean, look, the topping point on the right on this, before they were saying that he was rushing on things, was just the opposite. They were saying, well, if he'd have had something, he would have charged it by now. Why is he dragging it? Why is he taking so long? And now, I
think you might have heard something similar from one certain unnamed devilishly handsome outlaw. I think might have said something similar to you
okay.
on some panels once or twice. Well, I mean, now.
Oh, yeah.
I do recall saying so.
But it wasn't just you; it was everyone. That was a constant refrain on the right. Was that people are if they'd have had something and they would have done it by now. Why are they slow walking this? Why are they dragging their feet?
Because they wanted to wait for election season.
Well, they wanted to wait for the midterms to be over, because everyone would have said that this was all about knocking him down for the midterms. So doing it immediately after an election, is this is why Trump ran when he did, because he wanted to be able to say that he was a presidential candidate when this crime is going, under the theory that as long as you're running for president, you're above the law.
I made the joke a couple of weeks ago. It's and he's going to announce his candidacy to get ahead of them indictments. I was joking at the time. But now we find ourselves living history. Now, Aiko, the final analysis on this, just on these particular charges. We'll get into Georgia later. Do you think this goes anywhere?
Well, I think it does. I think it goes to court. Now, where it goes from there, I don't know. But I can tell you this: it takes 1.5 years to prosecute these crimes, and we also still don't know what the escalatory crime is. We're told that it has something to do with conspiracy charges, but that's not in the indictment, because at this stage in the game, New York doesn't have to say what the escalatory crime is. At some point, they'll have to. There's the Trump administration can sort of force them to release that. They'll try to make them release it as early as they can. But
yeah, because Alan Bragg's there's no precedent that I have to. I don't think it might be in the public interest.
Eventually he'll be forced to. He just wants to delay it as long as he can for strategic reasons. But here's the thing: it normally takes 1.5 years. But there's a strong case for relocating this trial, somewhere else in New York, because there's a strong case for the relocation, but I don't think there's anywhere people haven't heard of Trump. So I don't know how much that'll do, but it will delay things. So I think it could go 2 years, 2.5 years, which means it goes past the election. We may not have the trial.
What you call a bug, the Democrats are calling the main feature, Aiko.
Yeah, you could say that this is Benghazi 2.0, but with Benghazi 2.0, they try to drag it, push it forward in time as long as they could as well. But after 17,
I thought you didn't like Benghazi. I'm sorry. I thought you didn't think that was a good thing that happened to people.
No, I'm saying
why would you want that inflicted on more politicians? Then?
Well, I'm saying you could say that this is similar to the 17 Benghazi investigations, but this is just at least on these charges, this is just one. I suppose they could have decided to try each one separately, to have so as to have 34 different juries. But they didn't go with that. They decided to do it all in one lump sum. It's just that I don't think we're going to get a result from this. I don't think we're going to get a result from Jack Smith either until after the election. So I think in that sense, it doesn't matter. It's possible that we might get something in Georgia because things happen a little faster in Georgia. But yeah, that's my final analysis, is that no analysis is final on this one, because it's going to take a long time to do. Court cases just take time. We don't have We supposedly have a right to a speedy trial in this country, but like nothing is speedy in America.
Yeah, that like kind of like the Fourth Amendment. That's one of those that comes with a winky face. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, if you're driving anywhere in America, you effectively don't really have it while you're doing that. But okay, we are in the next hour, folks. Bring on the shots, motherfucker.
Let me get another Topo Chico.
Now, Tony,
living on the edge.
While you're getting that ready, that was some really good hazard and analysis there from the great Ico. Tony, I think it's time for you to take a shot of Tito's.
Jesus fuck. Yeah. All right. Guess I'll do
Beer
that.
before liquor. Nothing gets you sicker.
2 says Alisto. All right. Well.
Damn. Thank you guys. Thank y'all.
Well.
That I do appreciate. So Tony,
drinking
vodka.
What is the difference between when you have to drink gin and when you get to drink what you want?
The audience just likes to torment me in particular.
Right.
That's the difference.
No, they like, just make the request.
Okay. So it's whatever the person wants. Okay.
Yeah, and the audience knows I hate gin. So that's what they keep.
Yeah, I knew that too. That's why I was asking.
Brendan Roy, this is Ico Rich, the great beard of knowledge. He's also my head. Oh, thank you.
My knowledge has reduced a little bit in this week.
Oh, he trimmed his knowledge there. Yeah. It's like Samson. But like he's also my head of the EPA. How we doing there, Brendan? From Dad's Intercontinental. Great show. Oh, double shot of vodka. Okay. Now, Tony, Jesus I'm going to let you go to, hey, Rich. Brennan goes, hey. Tony, with everything going on with the Trump indictment, what is the hazard and what is the analysis, sir?
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Trey, I was just starting to like you.
Are we good? Jesus Christ. Vodka's barely better than gin. Like barely. So the hazard is, I've said this before, the hazard is if you're going to do this and you're going to just openly and blatantly, without any remorse or any apologies, use the police state as a political tool to smite down your enemies, which is what's happening. We can dance around it. We can pretty it up. We can put a bow tie on pile of dog shit. It's still a pile of dog shit. If you're gonna do that, like there's no recorking that wine bottle. There's no repackaging that wedding gift. There's no putting the gift back in the box. That's just life now. So if that's the box we want to open, and we just want to openly use the police state for political leverage, okay, because that's where we're gonna go. And not that hasn't happened many a time before. But if we're going to do it openly and the masses go, yes, we absolutely have to because evil. That's a level of corruption openly. Open corruption that gets applauded by the masses. That's some scary shit. And that's where we're headed and that's where we're at. And it's not going to get better by putting Trump in prison. It's going to get fucking worse. So I asked again, what's the cost of fulfilling this pipe dream? The cost would be pretty fucking high. Hell, even the cost of doing this sham is going to be high. And the analysis is, this is going nowhere. This is a sham. It's a fucking farce. They're not going to have anything. All 34 counts are the same count. And it's all bullshit. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep doing this. This is going to be a recurring thing. They're going to indict him. They're going to persecute him. They're going to investigate him. They're going to raid him. They're going to do anything they can to him throughout this entire process that is the next election cycle. His entire campaign is going to be battling against the people trying to shut him down before the election. And it probably isn't going to work. It's going to make him stronger. So once he becomes president, what's going to happen? It's just more of the same. He's just back in power, kind of, with what power he was allowed to have the first time, he'll have the second time, because the deep state's only going to allow him to have is what they'll allow him to have. And nothing will get done. It's going to be counterproductive, and it'll all be for naught. But hey, maybe inflation won't be as bad, and maybe we won't get into World War III. So I guess that's a positive. That's my analysis.
I'll take no World War III. That's
it's
not
a good one.
Like I'll
It's a
take
good
that.
one.
But the
It's a big one.
hazard, to touch on something Aiko said when he said this is like the hazard is that this is not like Benghazi, but this is like a Franz Kafka novel where we now have somebody who just so happens to be the leading Republican candidate for president on the Republican side. I now stand before a trial, and I know not for what. That is the very definition of the Kafkaesque, and where the prosecutor doesn't even feel the need to release the charges and let people know what he's actually charging the leading candidate for one of the major political parties in our country. The hazard is that this is the shit that banana republics do. Okay, when they start to actually lock up and arrest their political opposition openly as they are campaigning. That is the hazard. Now, the analysis at this point, I can confidently say that Donald J. Trump has easily and effectively won the Republican Party primary.
Yep.
It's already fiat complete in terms of the primary. There's no point. The only way DeSantis gets the nomination and gets enough votes to the point where there's not a problem at the convention is if Donald Trump endorses him.
Yeah,
that's it.
Otherwise,
because
it's done.
The Republicans that were a little shy of him in the immediate aftermath with January 6th and everything in the immediate aftermath of the election, they're now back and with extra charge after the raid of his house, let alone the indictment. And so me and Tony keep talking about there's a reason why Hulk Hogan worked for so many years. And that was because he understood, get the sympathy on me. Get the sympathy. Yep. Oh, they're hitting me. Oh, they're coming down on me until I start hulking up and then the people get behind. And Trump knows how to jazz a crowd better than anybody in politics. And so, like, the Democrats like to call this the persecution complex that Republicans have. But let's be frank, everybody in politics, if you're involved in politics in any measure, every side's got a little bit of persecution complex. But Trump knows how to use that better than anybody. And so we're in a very weird and real position. And the reason they're trying to take Trump out is, this is the final bit of analysis, and I keep pointing it to it. It was 3 states and a difference of 44,000 votes was the difference between Trump winning and losing. And if you think he can't make that up with the ability to rally in the next few years, you got another thing coming. Now, the way that they beat him last time is they took away his ability to rally. They might try to do the same thing again this time around by saying, nope, you can't travel around states while you're under indictment. They might try to limit his movement.
Did you not see the video I posted a few days ago about Trump rallies in 2020 versus the Biden rallies? Thought that was a really funny video.
Wait, you got is that just one you pulled from somewhere else, or is that like one you got on your YouTube?
I think it was a TikTok that got reposted on Twitter.
Okay. I was about to say, wait, Aiko, you've got where can people find you, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? Like, no, that's news to me.
But
no, I do remember that
massive Trump rallies, and then there was Biden with the little 13 cars on a drive-in, Yeah, exactly. So you can't
harvesting can do some amazing things, can it?
So 2020 took away Biden's ability to rally, but it didn't take away Trump's ability to rally.
No, he tried to rally throughout most of the COVID 2020 season, but he wasn't able to. And so he wasn't able to get rallies going until you can look it up. It wasn't until October when he was finally able to get some rallies going. And that was a big hand, because Donald Trump is a master of, if he can get you in front of him, he can motivate you to vote for him. Like he's very good at that.
I think.
And so if he could just do that in Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia, he might be able to pull this off. Wisconsin's going to be a little tougher after this last election. You are correct, because let's be frank, the fact that the Supreme Court of that state's going Democrat shouldn't have any influence on the 2024 election, but we all know it goddamn is absolutely 100,000% going to.
Right. But that's what I mean is like that election had an 11-point margin. Like it's amazing. If you look at the very Republican counties in the WOW counties and in the driftless areas, like the Protasewicz like really just outperformed Evers by about probably about 12 points in those areas specifically, and it was enough to take a 50-50 state and give her a like an 11-point margin.
Now, whenever you're talking about local state elections, I always kind of like pause at the idea of like, and then we can amortize that to the next election for a 1-to-1 ratio, because like I always remember like, okay, I think it was Alabama or remember that state where they put up Roy Moore for an election cycle? And we're like, no, in theory, a Republican's supposed to win this state, but they put this fucking doofus clown up for a nomination. And like, and so in any state that Jesus, okay, wow, covered ICO even. So like let's see, well, there's more than just travel ballot harvest, so more than all the equally Trump, and this should really make Democrats a little nervous, as Trump says, we're going to be the king of ballot harvesting. We're going to be better at ballot harvesting than anybody. And the thing is, like, where ballot harvesting matters is the swing states. That's it. That's the only place where it matters.
Yeah, I mean, this is why, this is why Trump has been like such a disaster for electoral politics within the Republican Party from 2017 on, because he was constantly doing things like telling people like not to collect their votes, not to use ballot harvesting, not to use mail-in voting, not to use any of that stuff. And listen, you can go back to my tweets, like going all the way back. I was saying that these are like major mistakes that the Republican Party is doing, and I find it. I think it's a positive thing if they support mail-in voting now. If they support like every American like having a chance to vote and maximize the amount of voting that they're doing instead of calling it cheating, then that's a positive. And I'd like to see the party go like more in that direction for sure.
Now, I made this speech the other night. I don't know if you were there. I hope you were, but it was on Lethe's panel. And even Lethe is like, you know what? If Trump talked like this, I would vote for him. And it's like, this is the speech that Trump needs to make. And you got to admit, like, whether you like him or not, this would be the persuasive speech to make. Where, all right, we're not going to look back. We're not going to look to the past.
Yep.
We're going to look to the future. And what I am going to do, the best thing that I could do in my time as president, is to ensure that we have the most transparent election with the most integrity imaginable, that when you go to cast your vote, you know that you have full auditable transparency of every single vote, every single ballot. And so you know you have full confidence in your elections. And that is the greatest legacy that I can leave to my beloved country of America. And Trump, if you don't start campaigning on that, your king of extreme is going to start campaigning that way, because that's how I would legitimately campaign. Is like, no, I want to leave my home better than I found it. And if Trump honestly campaigns like that, he's going to win over a lot of the moderates. Brennan, we're not going to look back at all that shit tons of money that I spent. We're not going to look back at the money that I spent. We're not going to look back there. Alesso, mail-in ballots should be serialized, the individual ID check, just like the military vote, in my opinion. There's ups and downs to that, because like I remember when I was a kid, like, you know, as I would hear about, like, if you were in a certain union town, they would have like ballots that were colored. Like one would be red, one would be blue. And one was for one candidate, one was for another candidate. And if you took the wrong colored paper, everybody would know you were voting for the guy you weren't supposed to. And so, like, I get
secret ballot is a right in this country. It's a constitutional right. Like,
yeah, like I like the idea that nobody gets to know who you vote. Like, because let's be frank, we also elect our prosecutors in this country, and I don't think anybody would like, oh. Yeah, I voted against the prosecutor that I now have to deal with. Like, yeah, like, no, I don't think anybody would like that to be out there. Now, me, I kind of wear my presidential votes on my sleeve. I'll be honest with you. In 2008, I could not bring myself to vote for John McCain, so I wrote in Ron Paul because I felt that he was the best person for the job. 2012, I held my note. Okay, like John McCain never saw a war he didn't like. He also was he was very instrumental in trying to get mixed martial arts banned, and I was really into Ron Paul. I actually have an autographed book of his. He's really pretty. I know, Tony. Can you believe it? We stuck on a topic. In 2012, I held my nose and voted Mitt Romney, and because like I didn't like it, but it was just like, well,
you should have stuck to your principles, man.
He was marginally better than Obama. I loved Ron Paul. Oh God, I wanted to write him in, but it was like, okay, maybe Mitt's got a chance here.
Well, you should have.
And then 2016, I bet neither you can guess that.
Yeah, you voted for Hillary. We know.
Oh, wow. So like, I don't really care about like telling people that, like, because some folks like, it's like the Dave Chappelle joke where it's like when you ask certain folks, like, so who'd you vote for? Dave, I'm trying to tell you how I fucked my wife here, and you're wanting to ask all these personal questions about who I vote for. That's a very, very personal thing there, Dave. So I totally get that. Now, curious, Aiko, last few elections, would we be surprised by anything that you threw out there?
Well, you might be surprised to know that my first Democrat was John Kerry. I had never voted for Democrat in my life until then.
And that's the one that turned you?
Wow.
No. The one that turned me was George Bush.
Okay, that's fair.
There you go, Phil. Like I said, back in 2004, nobody is voting for John Kerry. It could have been a monkey in a fucking suit, and we would have got the same goddamn amount of votes.
Yeah.
Just people hated Bush that much. And like, Aiko, you'll like this. We said this earlier before you got here. It's like, okay, if we're indicting presidents, former presidents, George W. Bush better be fucking patting the sweat off his forehead. It's like, wait a minute, we're indicting former presidents now. I thought that was the deal that we just don't do that. I plead the fifth if anybody asks.
Well, that was a big criticism, right, of Obama, was that he wouldn't go after Bush because many people thought he was guilty of war crimes.
Well, Obama.
Now, again, that's the left. That's the horseshoe left.
Well, no, right? Obama kind of understood. It's like, because look at what's happened. Well, shit. If I go after him, some motherfucker's going to go after me the minute I'm out of office. And then the cycle of life just continues, unfortunately. Because like it or not, some prosecutor like Texas or Tennessee or some shit's probably going to go after the Bidens now. Like, it's,
well, I mean, they went after Nixon. So, like, if you're going to say,
but there was no actual plan of ever indicting or jailing him in any way.
Oh, there was.
Like,
yeah,
no. You can look into it. There was no plan to ever actually jail him in any actual way.
Oh, well, but Trump won't be jailed either. If he's convicted in a way that's supposed to get him like some kind of prison sentence, they will find some way, because you can't put the Secret Service in a prison with him. Like, they would have to. It'd probably be a house arrest at Mar-a-Lago or something like that. Like that. I don't know what they could do. He's got Secret Service protection. Like, there's an inherent sort of.
Yeah, I feel like Trump's super protected.
Yeah. So
was that a little sarcasm? So
no, not at all.
Now, gentlemen, Phil, private chat. Okay, they're wondering now, Tony. I'm wondering, should we leave the audience wanting a little more, or should we get into the WWE story? What's your thoughts?
Oh,
Phil, just waiting for you to direct us here.
Well, if that's the case, Tony, I can tell everybody wants to get to this post show. So, folks, if you want to know what we have to say about the WWE sale, then you need to head on over to Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. And Tony and I are going to get into that as soon as we can find attorney extraordinaire Nathan Dallin. He was supposed to be on tonight. That was going to be a fun one because I wanted to see you, Aiko and Nate, clash on the Trump indictment. But we didn't. Maybe next week. Maybe next week, folks.
Sure.
But, ladies, gentlemen, all within the sound of my voice, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, Thank you for joining us at Hazard Analysis, Episode 3, Bud Indictment. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands himself, and one damn handsome man, folks. I hope all of you make it back here to Hazard Analysis, happy, healthy, much the wiser. Please give us a like, a share, subscribe here to Hazard Analysis on YouTube. Be sure to check us out. Type in Hazard Analysis episode 003 so you can find this in the YouTube search bar. Give us a subscribe, folks, so that we can grow this amazing community. And folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil KOE. You can, of course, find me at KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. I'm probably going to be going live Easter Sunday after all the worships are out of the way, so come join me there. And folks, God bless every last one of you. I hope all of you make it back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. Aiko, thank you so much for joining us this evening and lending your acumen, lending your incredible rhetorical skill to us. And we enjoy, and like all the pushback is legitimately appreciated, because
no problem.
we like getting into it just a little bit. And yes, Aiko, I'm going to interrupt you even when I'm agreeing with you, because like, I'm sorry, I literally can't help myself. It's like a reflex. But God bless every last one of you. Aiko, tell the folks where they can find you, and Tony G, take it away.
Well, I'm not a streamer, but you can find me on Twitter at the same name, iCowRich, and I am trying to stream soon. I just got to figure out, the technicalities and what I want to do and whatever.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you coming by here in that meantime, Aiko, and future head of the EPA. So, Tony, take us away.
Oh, we thank everybody again for joining us. Thank you, iCowRich, for joining us and being a guest tonight. And yeah, everybody, I know it's always a big ask when I ask you to get on your YouTube app and hit subscribe. I know it's super hard to do, but please, I beg of you, look for that little logo down there. Hazard Analysis, episode 001, 002, or 003 now. You should be able to find it. If not, I will personally send you a link to the YouTube channel, but we need to get that sub count up so it actually starts showing up in the search bar. And of course, if you can't do that, at least go over to the Big Bucket Empire on Facebook, go over to the Big Bucket Empire on YouTube, and of course the Big Bucket Empire on Twitch, where we also host this fantastic show for you to watch on a weekly basis. So folks, I really appreciate everybody joining in, watching, and especially the paid Facebook subscribers and everybody who even watches any of the short clips and the replays on the YouTube shorts. We just appreciate the support, we appreciate the views, and we appreciate the interaction. We do this out of the kindness of our hearts because we're just so good at it, but we appreciate everybody for appreciating us. And we will see you again next week for probably, assume, Hazard Analysis episode 004, unless we're going to eventually see a Return of the Dog and Chicken show, which whenever that happens, we will do a reconfiguring of the time slots and the days of the week and blah, 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 blah. We don't need to talk about it now. If you want to see the post show, here's
the links.
Here's the link
all the chats
to Hazard Analysis. You should be able to get to the YouTube channel. Should. I hope. If not, I will personally give you a fucking link in Messenger. Just hit me up. But yes, here is the post-show link. And folks, again, thank you for joining us. You want to continue the discussion or listen to what we have to say, come and join us on over there. We will see you next time.